It is 10:01. Good morning from the Circus Sports at the Mint Kentucky Downs 104.5 The Zone studio. I'm Lucas Panzica, less than 1 week away from the 2026 NFL Draft. Last night, the Nashville Predators finished the season with a 5-4 loss to Anaheim at Bridgestone Arena. Philip Forsberg, 2 goals. It gets him to 40 on the year. He and Stamkos, 40-goal scorers, but the Preds are done and have missed the playoffs now 3 of the last 4 seasons. Nashville Soccer Club back into MLS regular season play tomorrow night, still atop the Eastern Conference, visiting Atlanta United at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. 6:30 is the kickoff. Pregame coverage on The Zone starts at 6. The NBA play-in tournament continues tonight. It's Hornets and Magic tipping off at 6:30. Warriors and Suns at 9 p.m. For all your foundation repairs and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Good morning. How the hell are we supposed to follow that? Stoney Keeley, Ron Slay, Rand Carthon, Ramon Foster?
That was some good radio, man.
What are we going to do today? Certainly not anything that entertaining. But that's fine. We're going to have some fun today. Happy Friday. Congratulations to all. I don't know. It has felt like Wednesday all week long, just for the sake of everything that the week started with. And I don't know. It's been a weird week, but happy to put a bow on it. Happy to have you guys here with us for the next 3 hours, Lucas, Robert, and me. How's morale?
Morale's great. It's a beautiful Friday.
Who the hell is Morale?
Did you meet her at Mother's Ruin the other night?
It's a day 3 prospect. Thought you were good at this stuff.
That would tickle me.
The day 3 prospect?
I actually did.
What would Morale's last name be? Or is Morale the first or the last name?
Morale would be the...
Like Morale Sensabaugh or something like that.
Oh, he would be like
a Cody Sensabaugh, Titans legend.
A scrappy little 5'11" corner out of like San Diego State or something. I could see that. Next week, I do want to play draft prospect or Johnny Make 'em Up.
Yes.
Like I want to make a bunch of names. I want to
horse or draft prospect. We talked about this, right?
I know, but then I would have to give you horse names, which would be like Blazing Sun. Is this a draft prospect or a horse? So I'm going to have to make it draft.
I still want to do that game.
It's going to be very easy.
I know, that's the point.
House of Glass.
We treat it very seriously. We don't let anybody know that we're doing a thing, and then we just do it, and we say, well, perfect score. That's never happened in the history of the show.
Okay. Well, maybe we can try that at an earlier segment.
They'll never remember. It's fine.
And then just come up with a bunch of funny little who's-its and what's-its.
Okay. I mean, you could basically just, sim to the end of a Madden. Madden still does the 10-year sims, right, that are possible in your franchise mode. I haven't played Madden in 100 years.
Oh, yeah. They just make up a bunch of names.
Yeah, so just sim 10 years ahead. I assume you have a copy, maybe not the most recent copy. Do you have the most recent copy of Madden?
I haven't played Madden in a couple years.
Really?
Since college football came out, I've been more of a college football guy.
Oh, okay. I see. Well, either way, we'll let Robert sim 10 years ahead in a Madden franchise mode series, come up with a list of names that the computer generates, and we'll decide whether those are players, actual draft prospects, or just Madden creative players at some point next week. That will be the extent of our draft coverage.
Who's got the best name in this draft?
That's a good question.
Genesis Smith is one. The safety from Arizona is a good name.
Terrible tackler.
Isn't there a...
Terrible tackler? Is that what you said?
Isn't there another biblical name, like Euphrates or something like that?
If you would,
you know who I'm talking about?
Ephesians.
Oh, that's awesome.
Ephesians. An excellent...
Stop looking up names. Both of you. Stop. This is a game we're playing next week. Stop it. You've never cared about the 6th round of the draft, and now Lucas is like, late round linebackers. Stop it. You can't do homework for the fake game we're going to play.
Like I said, as the draft gets... We are less than a week away. We will do a full week of draft coverage doing stupid stuff like that. 615-737-1045 is the number if you want to participate. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch is how you interact in the F&M Bank chat. the comment section available for you. So we did Mike Borgonzi's press conference yesterday, and the Jeremiyah Love stuff is always going to take up a lot of oxygen. It's probably going to be exhaustive next week, right? We can all agree that if we are not yet tired of this one discussion around this one player, and there are multiple discussions to be had, but it's really about just value at the end of the day, positional value, and how much media people overhype that versus the way that football people actually consider their roster build. We can all come to agreement that the most exhausting version of the draft conversation next week is going to be, are they going to take Love or are they not going to take Love?
Yes, I agree with that. In a draft where there is a litany of options for the Titans, it feels like we keep coming back to Jeremiyah Love as the most discussed Titans player, which oftentimes leads to being the player that ends up getting drafted. Last year it was obviously Cam Ward. The year before that, I suppose it was Joe Alt that got scooped up. But this year, that guy is Jeremiyah Love.
And so there's not another franchise or fan base doing this with Love, right? There's been a lot of talk.
Good question.
About Kansas City, but that got neutered by the Kenneth Walker signing. Although Daniel Jeremiah still has a world in which the best player in the draft, the best offensive player in the draft, falls to 9 and then joins a backfield with Kenneth Walker.
Stranger things have happened.
And Patrick Mahomes. No, but that would be crazy.
No, I'm glad
that would be Infinity Stones type of stuff.
I got tired of talking about that show.
What show?
He said it had happened. Stranger things had happened. I'm glad it's over with.
I never watched that last season.
I didn't watch any of it.
Yeah, it's like, why do I care about these little kids?
But when a show, well, they're not little kids anymore.
What did you say?
When a show.
Oh.
I know you ain't about to be pointing no fingers.
Yeah, come on now.
Oh, you want to do this? You want to play this game?
Mine got dumped.
When a show takes a 2-year break, I'm usually going to be out on it. Like, all right, I forgot about it. I've moved on.
It took a 2-year break?
Pretty much, didn't they?
Although Game of Thrones did that crap all the time, and I was like a heroin addict. Every time they came back, I'm like, oh my God, thank God it's back.
Also, how difficult can a problem be if a bunch of children can solve it? Like, you're telling me that there were no grown men around that could just whoop that Gorgon's ass?
Most children I know are smarter than me.
You stop trying to be likable. We are all pleasantly intelligent, average male intelligence.
Yes.
What did you just try to utter?
This is a great display of
Whoa. Yeah, but
Did he tell you to go home yet?
I mean, bleep them kids, just generally.
Yeah, what are they going to do? Like, like I'm supposed to trust the island of lost boys or whatever the hell it is from Peter Pan? Get these kids out of here. Call in the National Guard.
But there's not another fan base that's having the back and forth, the value conversation, the roster readiness conversation. Like, it almost seems to be, there are other teams and other fan bases and other, versions of us and other media markets talking about the idea of Jeremiyah Love, but not to this extent, right?
Yeah, he's not been mocked somewhere as commonly as he has been mocked to the Titans, I don't think.
People in the chat now going through a self-loathing process where Bryce says Love is going to go 3. It's going to happen. Okay, just everybody settle down. We can react to the results of the draft when the results of the draft are in hand. I know Robert very much enjoys the draft process. I to Robert's credit, I don't say a lot of nice things about him because why would I? But Robert's love for the draft has made me more excited about the draft process, more interested in the draft process, more invested in the draft process, because I think after you do so many of these, it's my 10th off season. It's like you go through this and it's, it all starts to bleed together after a while. You're like, whatever. All right, you tell me when the players get here and we'll talk about the players when they get here. But there is great value, especially with a franchise like the Titans that has tried so damn hard to get up off the mat and failed in a variety of different ways. And it looks like they are at a point where they can stop just chasing their damn tails after 4 years of nonsense, it seems. And if you want to extend it back to J-Rob, 6 years of nonsense. But I have enjoyed this draft cycle more than I have the last couple. And I think that's a credit to you.
Oh, well, while we're on the topic of me.
Friday Fire, nice things, positivity.
Oh, you're making a change in your life. 1%
better every day.
Eventually, you'll be 100% better.
I don't think so.
It takes 100 days. What would be the strangest thing to happen with Jeremiyah Love in this draft?
What is the team that has had no conversation around Jeremiyah Love being drafted to them whatsoever?
Raiders.
I was about to say Jets at 2. Yes, you are correct. I wasn't going to go that high. And the Raiders were like, he's the best offensive player. We have Genty and Love.
We just signed Cousins. Y'all thought we were going to draft Mendoza this whole time?
You fools. Somebody
gonna
was
do that to
saying
Kirk
that.
again.
Dan Patrick was saying that the other day. Dan Patrick's like, what if they don't draft Mendoza?
We're just in that mode now.
Where it's just
pre-draft.
like, okay, how can we big brain our way through this exercise one more time where we've talked about this 10,000 times over and over and over again?
Now, something is going to happen that we are going to come back saying, I can't believe that happened, right? Maybe not Shedeur Sanders level of severity, but something along those lines happens in every draft.
Oh, I expect that we'll have a lot of movement in the first round. I saw a couple of different people, pundits, talking about that yesterday. Who was the GM that said that yesterday, that he's expecting a ton of movement? Brett Veach, the Chiefs GM, speaking of which, and maybe just, speaking casually and not trying to assign too much value into it, but it's a slow news cycle and it made headlines. Brett Veach said he expects a variety of different trade scenarios to take place in the first round, which would fall in line with the informed people who are doing mock drafts, right? The McShays, Feldmans, Daniel Jeremiah's, where they are projecting multiple trades within the first round and frankly, within the top 10. Now, Lucas found this piece of audio from Mike Tannenbaum, the former Dolphins and Jets general manager who's now working on ESPN and giving draft analysis. And he was, what was the nature of the conversation around Jeremiah Love and the Titans, Lucas, with Mike Tannenbaum?
Offensive line, what comes first? Are you putting the cart before the horse if you're drafting Jeremiah Love without fully addressing your offensive line?
So this was Mike Tannenbaum yesterday on ESPN.
I love Love, but my first draft running the New York Jets, we took the Brickashaw Ferguson at 4 and Nick Mangold at 29. We had lost 2 quarterbacks in 7 snaps the year before, and I didn't care if John Elway was in the draft. Guys, Cam Ward was sacked 55 times. Dan Moore did not work out. We're taking CC Maioga, and here's why. If Cam Ward can't stand upright, it doesn't matter if Jeremiah Love runs 4-2 or 4-1. We have to protect his blind side. I think he'd go from the right to the left or maybe move J.C. Latham. But if we don't address this offensive line, nothing else matters for Cam Ward's development. And while Love is a fantastic player, there's undeniable talent there. The offensive line is a must. The running back is a nice to have.
Who are they drafting?
Yeah, what did he say?
CC Maui Noah?
I think CC is his nickname.
Oh, okay.
It's like Francis.
CC.
Yes, I think. But
St. Francis of Assisi?
That was my favorite saint.
You had a favorite saint?
Oh, yeah, big
Oh,
time.
mine's Reggie Bush or Pierre Thomas. Love Pierre Thomas.
Oh, yeah, big time. Growing up, that was my guy. You're growing up to Catholic school. You're learning about the saints. And I was like,
I went to Catholic school my whole way through until college. What favorite saint?
Yeah, when you got confirmed.
Oh, God, what was my confirmation name?
Yeah, mine was Francis.
Yours would have been Michael.
Why?
I don't know. You just look like a St. Michael.
What? No one has ever looked less like a Michael than I do.
You look like your name could be Michael, Mike, Mikey.
No.
St. Francis is one of the coolest saints.
Why?
Basically, he was he's like an animal whisperer.
Maioga. Who?
It sounds like he's in Lord of the Rings and he is named an ogre, Cece. Cece Maioga.
He was also Italian.
He's also jobless.
So
it's like I don't care if John Elway was in that draft. You should.
Tannenbaum, yeah.
You really
probably should, general manager of the Jets and Dolphins.
Yeah. Are you telling on yourself there?
General manager of the Jets and Dolphins.
Mike Tannenbaum got fired.
Twice by 2 of the most defunct franchises in one of the most lost divisions in professional football in the last 20 years. So
that's a poll. What's your favorite saint?
Okay. How many of them do you think are going to get the exercise, and how many of them are going to do what
I will
Robert
be
just did?
so fascinated. That's such a great human experiment. How many people will just name New Orleans Saints?
I'll do it here in just a second. So the idea of Maui Noah. Should offensive line be off the table at let's work through this exercise in 2 parts. Should offensive line be off the table at number 4 overall? Yes or no? Around the room. Robert.
My answer's going to be longer than it should be. But if we're going to look at Love in the fact of, this roster's not ready for it, you don't take a non-premium position, and we're looking at the draft as a value system, there is no offensive lineman that is higher ranked or more valuable than Love is in this class.
Yes.
The way they're currently ranked. So I would say it's off because of how high the pick is and the other players that you would give up to take an offensive lineman.
Yes.
So I would say no.
Yeah, I would also lean no.
Even if you bump JC, and again, I'm playing devil's advocate here. I'm not advocating for or against. But if you bump JC Latham inside and you draft Maui Noah to play right tackle, and you get the best version of the offensive line that you've had here since God knows when. You still need a center, but Schlottman, they're going to start Schlottman. Like that's, if for no other reason, scheme familiarity. How is Cam who's going to handle the protections in the offense? Like there's a number of different mental gymnastics exercises that you're going to ask a second-year quarterback in a new system and a rookie center to try to do. They're going to start Schlottman, at least at the onset. If he's a disaster, okay, maybe they reconsider.
What I would be worried about in that situation is then 3/5 of your offensive line would be playing new on this team, even though Schlottman's experience in the system. JC would be playing his third position in 3 years, and Francis Mauigoa would be playing right tackle for the first time in the NFL. Even though if he was a great player in college, it's still his first time. So 3/5 of your offensive line would be brand new with limited experience where they're starting.
Kyle says on YouTube, give me the offensive tackle and move JC to guard. So, Lucas, you are aligned with Robert that at number 4 overall, offensive line is off the table.
I think so.
No. That's not an answer.
No,
it's a yes or no question.
I think so, but maybe it's not.
If they trade back, I would be
You're
more
only going to be
inclined.
here for an hour of the show. You're going to be this useless for an hour?
It could be off the table, but it could be on.
Could be underneath the table.
I think it should at least be a consideration. So I am going to say it should be on the table, even if it is one of the least likely scenarios among all of these other scenarios that we talked about, though I understand Robert's position about value. So.
You split the baby the same as Lucas did, right?
No. I said it's on the table.
Yeah. Which he said it might be, too. You said it shouldn't be, but it could be. But if it's not,
Mine was
might
way
be.
more definitive than Lucas.
Yours is still in the oven. You're like, oh, we're just keeping the biscuits warm until it's time for biscuits.
Lucas is the 5-year-old eating the dough.
Just lick the batter.
Yeah, it happens.
Batter? Ain't no batter with biscuits.
No, cookies. Yeah. Cookie dough.
We ain't making,
Nobody eats biscuit
we
dough.
ain't making cookies.
What kind of freak kid eats biscuit dough?
Poor ones. Don't talk about my people like that. I've had plenty of raw biscuit dough in my day.
It sounds like salmonella waiting to happen.
Butt blowing bubbles.
Ugh, God. So, at that point, then we would all say, if they were to trade back, if a scenario were to present itself that would give them commensurate value, that would justify trading out of the number 4 pick, depending on how far back they trade, understanding that that is a caveat that has to be discussed, offensive line should be on the table in the first round if they trade back. Yes or no? Yes.
Yes, 100%.
Yes. So we can talk more about this. We're going to get into some basketball stuff because there is a percentage chance Lucas has been trying to propagate this nonsense for weeks and weeks and weeks, but apparently it's more real than we had given credence to. Nate Ament, the chances that he returns to the University of Tennessee next year. We'll get into it coming up next. Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical is there to help you because there's nothing worse than a plumbing, electrical, or HVAC emergency. You don't know what it will cost. You don't know if it'll get fixed correctly. You don't know if somebody's just trying to upsell you on something for a problem that you don't fully understand. That's why Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical is there to help you because the price you see is the price you'll actually pay. Their techs are experienced and vetted, trustworthy. They are going to make sure that you get everything that you need in a way that is reasonable and fix your problems post-haste. In fact, they will even give you a link once your tech is assigned to you to track your tech in real time so you don't waste time waiting around. That's the worst part of scheduling one of those appointments. They give you a broad range of a window. You're just kind of waiting around in this purgatory situation. No, that's not how Hiller does business. They are the best for that reason. Happy you'll be, or the service is free. That's the Happy Hiller promise. So visit them online today at happyhiller.com.
This is a different court, Blair.
Same result, Slay.
Oh, okay, Blair. See, that's Tyler Tanner. See, Tyler Tanner's in the house now.
Let's see what you got. Jerry's out, Blair.
Blair, come on. Okay, Blair, just come sit down. Come on, Blair, stop. You're going to get hurt. Blair, get off the court. That's enough.
What's the verdict, Blair?
The courtroom is where I play ball.
Boy, Durham, injury law. And that ain't got no roof.
Welcome back to the show. Fueled by Hattie B's Hot Chicken, the best hot chicken in the world. So much fun to be at Hattie B's yesterday. Enjoyed some tenders. Robert and I, though, we were... Robert, you went full hot.
I'm a half bird kind of man.
You're a full bird kind of man.
I'll take 3 fried chickens and a Coke.
Oh, such a good movie. That is my favorite movie of all time.
What movie?
The Blues Brothers.
There's another guy out there that says he wants one plain white piece of toast.
Dry white toast. And the other one...
Would.
Jake? We have so many movie references that we've made this week. I just want to spend a whole weekend watching movies with you guys. Which sounds so not heterosexual.
That's okay. That's okay. I like watching movies with men. My problem is podcasts, I feel like, have ruined my attention span because I've been listening to Todd McShay, NFL Stock Exchange.
On 1.5 times speed.
Yes, on 1.5 times speed. So it like sucks all of the air out of conversations. So people would just be like, yeah, I really like this player. I don't think he could go that span of that far. But if you look back at his tape from 2024, it looks like all of the information is crunched.
I started doing it with Twitter videos now, too. I didn't realize that Twitter could give you that function, but I started watching Twitter videos on 1.3 speed, and it's way too much.
I have to go back to 1 times because I feel like it's ruining my attention span for things that need dramatic pauses. Like last night, I was watching Black Dynamite.
You watched it without me?
I'm sorry, I can watch it again. It's
You jerk.
It's a great movie. But there are times when they're just like pauses, and I could feel myself like feigning like interest, like losing it and wanting to go look at my phone. And I'm just like realizing you are sapping your attention span by doing this. Hopefully no one's listening to us on 1.3 times speed. If they were, when
Can you imagine?
when I just talked really fast, that's going to sound like nothing.
Oh, my God. We would just – this show is already bad. But, like, to speed it up, I mean, maybe just for the sake of getting through it. I don't know.
Take your medicine.
All right. I got to get through this. I got Todd McShay on. I got to listen to it, but I don't want to listen to the rest of this garbage. Anyway. What I thought was garbage is the idea that Nate Ament might go back to Tennessee. And yet, Pete Nakos and Austin Price and several other people in the know in the college basketball or vol world have said that there is a percentage chance, a significant percentage chance, that if Nate Ament is not a lottery pick, that he returns to the University of Tennessee. That would be a huge, huge development.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know that I would, make them favorites to win the national championship. But I would say that the construction of the team that Rick Barnes has built through the portal, they felt more aggressive in the portal this year than I can remember.
It's by far the most aggressive they've ever been. It's been absolutely by necessity, by the way. And man, some of the figures coming out on these guys, we're seeing all the destinations now of this exodus of Tennessee players. A lot of them in the SEC. JP Estrella. Well, he's not in the SEC, but he goes up to Michigan, which, by the way, happened very quickly. Tennessee was bounced, of course, by the national champs in the Elite Eight.
You saw that across from him. I was like, I want to be on that team.
I mean, dude entered the portal and boom, just like that. So it's like, when did those conversations start?
Yeah.
Amari Evans has officially committed to Texas. Jalen Carey transferring to Missouri. Cade Phillips transferring to Texas A&M. Bishop Boswell to Maryland, reportedly for $2 million. A $2 million deal. With respect to Bishop Boswell, whose performance in that Virginia game was critical to Tennessee advancing to the Sweet 16, but on no planet is what Bishop Boswell did for Tennessee last year, worth $2 million to Tennessee. I mean, it's just insane what some of these figures are. But
that's what happened to Florida last year, though. People just started picking players off of their bench and giving them significant deals because they were on the national championship team. And it's, to your point about the tampering, the agent conversation with other institutions and the people responsible for trying to recruit these kids via NIL. Yeah, it goes on every day throughout the course of the season.
So, yeah, to your point, we'll talk about the class Rick Barnes is putting together, but Pete Nakos was on with my buddies over at Fox Sports Knoxville, where I used to work.
Fine.
I used to work there.
It's a fine. I've been fined for dumber stuff. I think it's a fine. Robert?
Thank you, Robert.
Oh, eat it.
It was a half fine. Just a half a fine.
He was on with the guys in the afternoon, The Drive. This was 2 days ago, and Pete Nakos of On3 Sports said, quote, I can confidently say that if Nate is not a lottery pick, Tennessee is extremely well positioned to get him back next season. I guess the question, something that only Nate can answer, is what is the lowest he's willing to go in the NBA draft? I found this very interesting because only 2 weeks ago, Tennessee basketball assistant Greg Polinsky, who used to work in the NBA as a scout for several years, was on the same show, The Drive, Fox Sports Knoxville, with my guy Russell and Bear and all of those guys.
Fine. At your convenience. I feel that's a full fine. Yeah.
Greg Polinsky said on the same show 2 weeks ago about Nate Ament, quote, of course he has to go, talking about the draft. He said, if he was my son, I'm telling him that he's got to go. So a Rick Barnes assistant 2 weeks ago saying, yeah, he's got to go to the draft. That's been the messaging all year. And then here's Pete Nakos saying, well, hang on a minute. this is something that could happen. It would actually provide an iota of continuity for Tennessee next year.
So how low? What do you know what Tennessee or around what Tennessee was paying him? Off the top of your head?
Honestly, no.
I have to imagine that it's got to be, and I'm going to guess. Maybe you can find something, at least a reported figure or a valuation, NIL valuation. I'm going to guess it's around $5 million.
I'd say around 4 to 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's say between $4 and $5 million last year. Is $7 million worth it for Nate Ament to return to Tennessee? Because he would probably still stand to make more money if he went to the NBA draft at that point. But at least you have to think about it.
The number 10 overall pick in last year's draft, I may butcher this name, Kaman Maluak. The name does not ring a bell. Was the number 10 pick last year to the Phoenix Suns.
Did you say so?
He signed a 4-year deal for over $27 million. That's an average annual salary of about $6.8 million for the number 10 pick in the draft. Nate Ament is the only one that is getting the kind of information he's going to be getting on where he will land.
Just quickly, Brandon says, according to Chris Lowe, $3.2 million is what Nate Ament was making last year.
Okay.
So a lower figure.
Yeah.
But I still stand by, what?
That's just money.
Oh.
Yeah, what do you like a hit dog hollering? Come
Talk
on,
about
calm
money.
down, buddy.
This is triggering. So 3.2 to 7 is a significant jump. I still think it's worth it.
But at that point, you're talking about betting on yourself too, right? To not go into next year's draft as maybe a top 10 pick, but as a top 5. Top 3 pick in the NBA draft.
Top 2.
Top 1, potentially. So, interesting.
I mean, it's crazy to talk about competing with the NBA as far as what you're going to pay these guys.
Yep.
But, man, if you could have a chance at a national championship, all right, would you be the inverse of me if they won the national championship in basketball? Would it still not mean as much as a football championship to you?
Oh, it would mean all right on the similar level. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. To win the NCAA tournament.
Do you think you're alone or in the minority of that position? Because haven't you told me several times that you have many close friends that would just completely disband the baseball program for the sake of a football national championship?
Yeah, but that's baseball we're talking about. We're not talking about the NCAA tournament. Like,
I don't know.
Would they get rid of baseball for a basketball national championship? Because that would tell you if they were equal.
Okay.
Yeah, I think a lot of people would. I think there's a lot of people that with Tony gone, if you had the option of baseball program disappears in exchange for not just the Final Four, but a national title. What's the can we say the title of the movie? Glorious
Bastards?
Yeah. Glorious.
Well, you did it.
You take that deal? Yeah, I'll take that deal. It's a great scene.
So with that consideration, I mean, we now have a reason to watch the NBA draft because he hasn't declared.
Not officially, no.
But not a lot of people have officially declared for the NBA draft. And I wonder if it's just a leveraging situation where like, all right, one last chance, make me an offer I can't refuse type deal. Unless you're a consensus top 3 pick. Robert, you have something?
Yeah, isn't the NBA draft a little bit different where you can still go through like the combine and get a grade? So I wonder if people would do that, go through it, get your grade, see where you stand, and then say, you know what, I'm going to come back.
A lot of people. Now, if I remember correctly, it may be different now, but I am pretty sure that you can go through the process, get all the feedback. Like you can even declare and go through that process
for the draft
and come back unless you hire an agent.
Yes.
I don't know if that is still the case with how much money is flying around.
I think that was the most recent change to the rules. I don't know. That was a couple of years ago where that was the case.
Right. If you hired an agent, you're done. You cannot come back.
But I think we were still doing the NIL thing a couple of years ago when that change was made. So,
how would you feel if that was the case for football? I think that would be fascinating.
Like if you could just test the waters.
Yeah, and go in
put
and
these poor scouts in a blender.
God. And then it's like, well, no, actually, I'm going back to school. It's like I watched 12 games of that guy.
From Ferris State.
Yeah, I don't know if that would – see, I feel like that would change – and this would be a great question if it was a thing that was actually going to happen. But, like, how would they compartmentalize this? Like, would you only be scouting guys that are for sure going to the draft in an effort to save time? And then after the combine, when people were forced to declare or go back to school, then you could go back and watch the potential declarees?
I just think it's so much more of an undertaking in football. I just don't think you can in good conscience do that to two teams. Like I'm not, people aren't shedding a tear for the work put in by scouts and front office people at this time of year, but it's a very labor intensive, unsexy process. And I just think that you can't do, it's already been made more difficult with the way that NIL has changed who comes out in the draft. I don't think you can double down and create that kind of chaos for them in the middle of this. When your window, I know it's a lot of time for us because we're just talking about it and waiting for the thing to happen so we can move on. But for them, like this is, what did Mike Borgonzi say yesterday? It's like, it's our game day. Like you get nervous energy like if you were a player coming out of the tunnel to play a football game. That's what this is for us. And so they go through all the terrible parts of it just to get to this.
Yep.
And you're going to throw a huge wrench at them like, oh, yeah, but they can still go back if they want to.
We'll see what happens here, but it is fun to think about Nate Ament and the player he could be with a second year under Rick Barnes, growing into his body more, a more confident player. We had to kind of watch Nate Ament grow up in real time throughout the entirety of the first half of the regular season this past year. And for him to be able to be 100% healthy, which he was not for pretty much the last month of the season, NCAA tournament included, and be able to hit the ground running and be a critical component coming back, it'd basically be Nate Ament and Dwayne Brown as the only players that got any real minutes for Tennessee last year coming back, along with this portal class Rick Barnes is assembling. Tennessee on paper would instantly be a Final Four caliber team. On paper, a lot of things have to happen. You have to come together. You have to gel as a unit, learn how to play with each other, all of these things. But yeah, just that tiny little bit of hope is officially being dangled for Vols fans with Pete Nakos going on the drive yesterday and saying that.
615-737-1045 is how you can jump in if you want to. Robert, what do we have to give away for Friday Fire later in about an hour from now?
Chris Stapleton tickets.
Oh, nice.
We've had some really good prizes this week.
I'm telling you. And I don't know if you have you
Not
guys
yet,
seen
at 11:45.
Yeah, if you call us right now, I will ban your number so fast you won't even be able to dial 615 on your phone.
You can call if you want to talk.
Call us now. It just can't be for Friday Fire.
I don't want to talk to any of them. Just kidding. You can call me. 615-737-1045. Have you guys seen these Chris Brown and Usher concerts?
Let me take a phone call and we can talk about this. Let's go to Ben in Lewisburg.
Hey, I was just calling to talk about the Nate Ament situation, and I think that.
Okay, your phone line is.
We lost you,
Very
Ben.
good.
Okay, so this Chris Brown and Usher concert.
I mean, I shouldn't get so mad at them because they don't know that their phone line is horrendous. But that's a really bad job. He's fielding more phone calls. Would you be more interested in Chris Stapleton or Usher and Chris Brown at Nissan Stadium? Because I think I'm going to that Usher Chris Brown concert.
I've seen Chris Stapleton now multiple times.
Have you?
Yes.
That's got to be a good live show.
It's awesome. But because I've seen him a couple times, Usher Chris Brown would be a good damn time.
Jason is next.
Hey, guys.
Hey.
So I'm not a Tennessee fan, but I thought I'd share something that might be relevant for the Nate Ament discussion. Widely accepted last year's basketball player that had the biggest NIL deal was a kid named A.J. DeBanza. He was out at BYU.
Yes.
And word was he got about $7 million a year for his NIL deal, give or take a little here and there. And he's by a lot of folks projected to be the number one pick in the upcoming draft. He's kind of doing like you guys said. He's not formally declared because he's not really testing the waters. I think he's just having fun with the whole process and trolling people, to be honest. But that's where he was. So if Ament were to get a similar deal, or anybody using just that existing number, I would think that he would have to project to be a pretty dominant player. AJ was certainly, All-American as a freshman. So
Appreciate the call, Jason. That's 60 seconds on the clock. I know you can't hear the Oscars music, but we do play the Oscars music when you have exceeded the 60 seconds.
Yeah, the reporting around Bonzo was that it was around $7 million. A lot of that coming from endorsements, Nike, Red Bull, right? Not just directly what BYU was paying him, but that was his total income. And it shouldn't be surprising. We have yet to see a college football player make $7 million. And I guess that shouldn't be surprising because
we have yet to see a college football player. Well,
I mean, like
roster sizes.
Exactly. Carson Beck going to Miami for, what was it, like $5 million?
I think it was less than that. I think it was like 3.5.
That was pretty much the biggest we've seen so far. So it shouldn't be terribly surprising that basketball is being able to funnel more towards individual players. Obviously, you have far less players to work with.
You have a stat of the day?
I do have a stat of the day. Rick Barnes putting together his roster for next year, making some moves.
Next.
All right, it's portal season in college hoops, and Tennessee basketball, after having their roster pillaged, suddenly is rising up the ranks of the team portal rankings. They have secured commitments from Day Ames, 17 points per game. Fantastic name out of Cal, 46.4% field goal shooter last year, a scoring guard. They have secured Tyler Lundblade, who we know from Belmont to be one of the best three-point shooters statistically over the last couple of years. There's your two. Spot up, shooting guard, 15.6 points per game a year ago, a 40% three-point shooter with the last 2 years combined. They bring in Jalen Harrelson from Notre Dame, former McDonald's All-American, a scoring forward, over 16 points per game. Miles Rubin, over 11 points per game. There's your rim protector. There's your Felix Okpara replacement. And there's a couple more brewing here as Terrence Hill Jr., the VCU transfer guard, who averaged 15 points a game on 46.6% shooting last year, was just on campus for his official visit. They painted up the rock, the whole deal. Tennessee pulling out all the stops. Oh, and you can actually recruit out of high school still. And the Vols yesterday secured a commitment from 2026 four-star forward Chris Washington, who is the number one player in the state of Tennessee, former Alabama commit, 6'9", 195-pound wing. And so moves are being made, and there's one looming in Juke Harris out of Wake Forest. Robert, I don't know what you may or may not know about Juke Harris, but he is leaving Wake Forest, and many schools are pursuing him. Brett Hubbs was on with Stoney and Ramon this morning and said that that is a guy that Dusty May in Michigan, that it is personal for Dusty May to land Juke Harris. There's also a thought that Harris may be weighing the NBA draft. North Carolina could be in the mix. But point is, Rick Barnes has Tennessee as the number 3 portal class in the country right now, according to 247 Sports, and the number 1 portal class in the SEC.
You say that you can still recruit kids out of high school. Do you see Patino said we're not actively recruiting anybody out of high school right now?
Yeah.
Which you don't have to do that every year. It can be a year-by-year basis, but it's just a weird thing to see a college basketball coach say.
Who do you think costs more money? High-ranking high school recruits who are probably going to be one and done and go to the NBA, or high-ranking transfer portal guys who are probably going to stay in college and keep making money for the upcoming years?
I think the highest-ranked portal guy costs you more than the highest-ranked recruit.
You think?
I think so.
I could see that because he's more valuable to college teams than he would be to the NBA. So that would make sense to me.
Yeah, but, I mean, you couldn't see a world where you get into a bidding war over the number 1 recruit.
Yeah. There will be some, like Nate Ament.
Like, I'm not saying that's widespread, and you're on aggregate, you guys are probably right. Like, on any average year, the top transfer portal guy will probably make more than the number 1 recruit out of high school. But I bet if you get into a certain situation, you could see that turned around pretty easily.
By the way, Kim Caldwell can field a team if she needed to tomorrow with some of her portal acquisitions. Certainly the talent profile goes down in terms of former McDonald's All-Americans and all of those things. But the hope is Kim Caldwell is actually assembling a team that fits her scheme a little bit better. Danny White, once again, spoke out in support of her going into the 26-27 season. So, Tennessee basketball making moves. I saw your Hoosiers are making some moves.
It's going to be very disappointing to you when IU makes the Final Four and wins another national championship back-to-back, and Tennessee is, putzing around in the Elite Eight and doing whatever they're doing in the SEC. No, Tucker's not coming back.
Coach's son back?
I'm talking about the coach. The coach can't graduate. His son can, but he can't.
Is the son back? Is he
No,
back?
thank God.
Damn.
Get him out of here. Get that flabby white nonsense out of here.
Is he going to the draft?
No.
Is he going overseas?
Gonna go flail around in
He's going
Israel.
to Enterprise. He's going to be sitting on his dad's bench as a GA. Get out of
there
here.
Might be a spot for him in Luxembourg or something.
Stop it.
He's playing Antarctica against
Slay
penguins.
played in Europe, all right? Don't denigrate the quality of European
Slay played
basketball.
in some of the top European leagues. I'm saying this guy may have a spot in, Estonia or something. I wonder if
Zanzibar.
Is Folky still playing over there?
Ghana.
I love that Billy Joel song.
That's a good song. Yes, Indiana has done very well through the portal. We will see if it turns into anything, because Mike Woodson once had a good portal year, and they spent $22 million to do jack. So we will wait for the results on the court.
There you go.
The other part of this is that we didn't talk about is we did kind of touch on the tampering. how is it just going to be like a joke that we all tell ourselves, like when the legal tampering period in the NFL starts, like, okay, these deals have been negotiated for the better part of a month at this point in time. Whereas in college sports, the college sports thing is so crazy because there are less guardrails and less oversight than in pro sports, which is an insane way for this thing to be conducted. But the rate of tampering is just, you want to talk about things in college that aren't sustainable? I don't know how the hell you're supposed to operate a college basketball program or a football program with the way that this is working right now.
It is fascinating how some coaches respond to it. The way Rick Barnes has kind of embraced it is fascinating to me. And this is different from what he's done. Like, he has not had a challenge like this. We thought last year was a big turnaround on the roster. This is even a few steps above that in terms of replacing literally anybody that played a major role from you last year, especially if Nate Ament goes on to the NBA draft. But you're trying to pull a Michigan, right? I mean, this is what Tennessee's trying to do. They're trying to replicate what Michigan did last year, what Florida did the year before that. Michigan did a more extreme version of what Florida did with literally a starting 5 of transfers. But at this rate, if Nate Ament doesn't come back, Tennessee's starting 5 oftentimes this coming season will be all transfers.
615-737-1045 is the number if you want to jump in there. Lucas has to run to, you're not going to Geodis. Where are you going?
I'm going to Vanderbilt Health Training Center.
Both of the
Both
soccer
Nashville
team
SC and Titans facilities, Vanderbilt naming rights. Yes,
okay,
sir.
very good. So Robert and me are going to talk about pass heavy.
Please take me with you, please. Please, can I go? Just take me with you. Don't leave me here with him. Please. This is like when your dad goes to work and you're stuck at home with your mom and she's mean to you.
What is your childhood? And it sounds like you got to work something out in therapy, bud.
No. I just
What are you talking about?
I just don't want to stay here with you. Lucas, let me leave with you. Can I go to work with you?
Too bad. Robert Wall stuck with me. Next. We've all bought concert tickets or tickets to a sporting event. And, you pay maybe $50, let's say, for that ticket. And you're comfortable with that price. It's a reasonable price. And then you go to check out. You get hit with a bunch of fees that are not what you accounted for and do change your budget if you are budgeting for this event. This happens at car dealerships a lot, too. And it's one of the most or one of the worst tactics that car dealerships can employ, some car dealerships can employ, that make you feel like you've been, frankly, cheated. Where you go to pull off the lot in your new vehicle, you've got all the paperwork signed, and then all of a sudden the price you see is not the price you're actually paying. That's why Two Rivers Ford exists, for a number of reasons, because they don't operate that way. Not only does their sales staff not work on commission, so you feel no pressure throughout the course of the car buying process, but as I mentioned, the price you see is the price you actually pay. You're not going to get upcharged on a bunch of stuff when you get ready to take your new vehicle home. Two Rivers Ford has been doing business with honesty and integrity for over 4 decades. It's why they're the South's most trusted Ford dealer. So go visit them just 7 miles east of Nashville International Airport today or online at tworiversford.com. Local, honest, real. The South's most trusted Ford dealership is Two Rivers Ford.
11 o'clock on the dot. Good morning from the Circus Sports at the Mid-Kentucky Downs studio. I'm Lucas Panzica. The Nashville Predators finished the season with a 5-4 loss to Anaheim on Thursday at Bridgestone Arena. Philip Forsberg with 2 goals to get him to 40 on the year, along with Steven Stamkos. But the Preds are done and have missed the playoffs 3 of the last 4 seasons. Nashville Soccer Club jumps back into MLS regular season play tomorrow night at Atlanta United, still leading the Eastern Conference. Kickoff for Mercedes-Benz is at 6:30. Pre-game coverage on the Zone starts at 6. The NBA play-in tournament continues tonight. The Hornets and Magic tip off at 6:30. Warriors and Suns start at 9. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and the Vols. This is 104.5.
Maybe you should go with Lucas.
That was rude.
The Zone.
The Zone.
Second hour is upon us. We're happy to have you. Thanks for stopping by, spending a little time on your Friday. Lucas is going over to the soccer team's training facility to get a little work done before his match this coming Saturday, I believe he said, is when Nashville SC is back in action. So you can listen to that broadcast as well. Robert and me are with you for the foreseeable future. Lucas may or may not be back during the show. He acted as if he at least pretended. It was very cute. It's very sweet.
I could still make it, guys. Yeah. I could still make it back.
Yeah, he thought he was being slick in the way that he said, no, maybe I could come back, when in reality we know he's not coming back.
I'm going to try my hardest to be back before the show is over.
Yeah.
But I've got to make it to Geodis to talk to BJ Callahan or wherever the hell he's going.
Yeah, somewhere. You think he just tells us that sometimes and then leaves?
What are we going to do, check it?
I mean, I've done that.
What, you check to see if he was really there?
No. I've just told you guys I had somewhere to be and then left.
No. I hate both of you.
I got a press conference. What am I going to do? I got to go.
I have to go to this press conference. Me and Lucas like, Buck hasn't asked a single question. Is he there? Text you, scream if you're at the press conference.
We should do that at the next live show just to see if anybody's paying attention to us. We were at Hattie B's yesterday. We should do that exercise that you two were doing at the bar. What was that, Friday night or Saturday night, where it's just a crowded place. You're wondering if anybody's paying attention, and all of a sudden you... Yeah. We should do that during the next live show.
I don't know. I almost got my ass kicked.
Recently?
At the bar. That night, that woman, I already told you about it. The 2 women that were sitting at the bar together.
You could have taken her.
I don't think that's the issue. I don't think me taking her is the issue. Could I have Hulk Hogan military pressed her above my head and slung her into the backdrop of bottles at that bar? Probably. But who's the real winner if that happens?
Me.
Sometimes you just have to.
Oh, my goodness. So, speaking of things that we're going to yell and shout about, Robert's very upset with me trying to get this conversation off the ground because somebody sent me, somebody very smart, which is why I want to talk about this, sent me this graphic from Football Perspective the other day. From 2010 through 2025, the 2 most run-heavy seasons in the NFL have been 2024 and 2025, interestingly enough. In 1995, teams passed more frequently than they did in 2025. So it becomes a question of why do teams run the ball and the rushing quantity versus quality that teams are able to get. We have this conversation in terms of what's the best way to continue to build the Titans offense around Cam Ward. And Robert, when I sent you this graphic, you immediately started to push back on me with what?
This is just so flat. I don't even know what it means. Okay, they ran just as much as they did in 1995 or whatever the comparison is. What?
Yeah, so basically, in the last 15 years, the 2 most run-heavy NFL seasons across the board have been the last 2 seasons. So what I'm posing this to you and to anybody out there, as far as we talk about premium positions and how you go about constructing a roster, are we seeing a trend in the NFL in which teams are going more run heavy? You also pointed out that this doesn't account for like our screens lumped into passes versus runs here. Like what kind of plays are we talking about? Because there can be plays behind that are more like a run than they are like a pass, even if they're technically a pass, right? Are we seeing a trend in which teams are starting to get back into the run game more, or is the last 2 years an anomaly? Is it just something that's going to continue to trend in the direction of where the passing game is the more efficient means of moving the football on offense? Or are we seeing NFL offenses account for, okay, teams are playing us differently defensively. We may have some more opportunities in the run game than in years past. We're going to take advantage of those things, and this is how those last 2 seasons played out.
Do you know where Tennessee ranks in the league as far as like run pass frequency?
Run pass frequency. They were coming off of last season.
Yes. The 2025 season.
They were, if I'm not mistaken, they were a significantly more pass-heavy team last year, specifically out of 11 personnel.
Significantly. In fact, they rushed the third least amount in the NFL with 39.9%. And I wonder if they were to select Love or if this is in accordance to the offensive line. And this is why I had the problem with the chart, because there are so many different factors that could come into play with quarterback injuries, and it's okay, we trust our running back more than we trust our quarterback. Like, what was the run success? What was the EPA? Like, are you running more because there was a higher EPA for runs on certain drives? Like, there's just so many different factors just to flatly say we're running more now or the same amount we did in 1995. I didn't know the direction of it. And I do think that it's going to end up bucking back that way.
Yeah.
Like teams where we're going to go out and spread and a lot of smaller guys. I think you're going to get where people are going to try to power and bully people in the run game again because all of the defenders are undersized and you're worried about what they can do in space versus having mass to take on blockers.
You would agree, though, that would probably, like if I told the audience that the most run-heavy seasons in the last 10 years were the last 2 years, that would probably, to the audience, seem counterintuitive, right? Because the way that we talk about the how much more spread out the game has been in the last few years. Because I think if I was an audience member and hearing that without, access to the amount of data that we have access to, whether it be through Pro Football Focus or things like FTN Fantasy and DVOA and EPA and all these other advanced metrics that help us understand the efficiencies of plays and how teams are trying to become more efficient in what they're executing. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't surprise me at all to know that Tennessee was, you said, the third least, rushed the third least amount last year. I don't know if I'm saying that grammatically correctly.
Yeah, who knows? Yeah. I think people get what we're saying, though. Yes, only Cincinnati and Arizona rushed less. Loosed. Only Seattle and
lesser.
Cincinnati and Arizona, they both rushed 37.3 and 36.1% respectively.
Okay, so Callahan and Zach Taylor run the same offense, so that makes sense. They also were a terrible offensive line unit for 2/3 of the season, so I almost don't blame them for shying away from the run, even though I think at a certain point, it's such a fine balance, because we used to go through this with like Arthur Smith and Derrick Henry, where there was a conversation being had about taking Derrick off the field on third downs. Does that occur in Baltimore? Because that was such a huge talking point here.
It depends. I think Derrick gets so many touches in Baltimore that they take him off. They took him off in previous years on third down because they had guys who could make a difference there or could come in to spell him. Like Justice Hill, he's kind of like the Ravens pass pro, do-it-all kind of guy, catch out of the backfield. And then they had Keaton Mitchell, who had a huge speed factor. So they had to take Henry off the field at some point, so they would put those guys on instead. But, I mean, it's not necessarily such a big play. Yeah. I think the bigger question with Henry was the fumbles at the worst moments at the beginning and end of the season.
He had a season like that here, too. I want to say it was his second to last in 2022, where the ball security situation for him was just a nightmare. And he was talking about everything from, okay, I'll take off the sleeves if that's the reason that, if it's causing any additional lack of ball security, whatever we need to do here, we'll figure it out. As far as this relates to the Titans, I think it just depends on the context that I think helps this conversation, Robert, because you're right. It's a graphic that doesn't help us learn inherently why it's happening, just that this was something that's happened over the course of the last 10 years, but not giving us enough detail as to why, the actual context required. For a team like the Titans, and really any team, I don't know that teams are going out. This would actually be a good question for a coaching staff, or for Saleh the next time he speaks, or Dable the next time he's available, or even Bradley, as far as what it's like to defend these offenses and how you account for this. I think teams are just trying to put themselves in the best possible position to succeed, and then you get the metrics after the fact and say, oh, it's kind of interesting. We ended up running the ball far more than we expected to, but those were the things. That's what was allowing us to have the greatest amount of success. Those were the plays that the offensive line was most comfortable with, that the quarterback was most comfortable with. And so we just ended up leaning into our bread and butter, and that's what our bread and butter ended up being. You have all of the same plays. Nobody's coming up with new football concepts necessarily. But for teams and how you kind of marry that historical data with how you're trying to advance, if you're trying to advance in a certain direction, I think for a team like the Titans, they just need a better run game for Cam Ward to be able to lean on. They can't be the team with the third fewest rushing attempts in the league next year. You can't ask Cam to do that much all the time. It's a reason we played that Mike Tannenbaum clip earlier. It's a huge part of the reason he was sacked 55 times. Because of the way that he plays, and he has to get better about that. That's a point of improvement specifically for Cam Ward, but also because they were dropping back at such a ridiculous rate. And some of it was because penalties would put them behind the sticks. Some of it is because they were struggling mightily to run the ball. They did try to run the ball. I think Callahan would give up on it too frequently. I think Mike McCoy and Bo Hardigree, after that change was made, were more disciplined about sticking with the run, even if it didn't quite even out in every game. 615-737-1045 is the number. We're going to talk, mock draft Friday? Is this a mock draft Friday?
Not necessarily a mock draft. They asked anonymous AFC and NFC scouts who they think the pick would be at 1 through 10. And I wanted to go through and list why they thought that and see if we can sniff any of the BS out.
We will do that coming up next. Welcome back to the show, fueled by Hattie B's Hot Chicken, the best hot chicken in the world. Really appreciate the fine folks at Hattie B's for having us out yesterday at their West Nashville location. Hopefully, if you went to their event that they were putting on with the Titans, you had a great time. We are going to, by the way, speaking of a great time, 2 weeks from today, the install, the live show. We are going to make announcements next week. We are going to make announcements about special guests next week. So I am telling you, I am warning you, I am borderline threatening you. If you do not get your tickets for this thing before we announce these special guests, and then we announce the guests and all the tickets go away, and you're yelling at me about that after the fact, or you're complaining about the fact that, I didn't know, I didn't have enough time to get my tickets or whatever, I'm going to laugh at you. I'm going to point at you and I'm going to laugh at you. I'm going to say, no, I didn't want you there anyway.
You know what Magic Johnson said? I ain't going to be there. That's how you going to be if you don't get them tickets.
That's right.
And you would miss out on a golden opportunity because I am in rarefied air. It's something about that night, something about the analog, something about being able to smell Greg's cologne, the room, the ambiance, the lights, the pomp, the circumstance. It turns me into a demon. I don't know what it is.
No, it's the half-gallon of Tito's that's sitting in the green room that we bring for Slay every year so he'll do the intros.
That is probably a big part of it. Hattie B's is a part of it.
Yeah.
Seeing all the Titans fans is a part of it. But if you want to get a little soused, as my grandpa say, take a couple drams, it's a good place to do it.
It's a great time. So we're looking forward to having 300 of you in the house again. We have, like I said, sold a significant chunk of the tickets so far. We only had 250 to sell in the first place, and apparently staff and people associated with the station, there's an allotment of 50. So really, it's 250 to winnow that down even more. So the fact that we are, I would say, not quite halfway sold out, but will be sold out after we announce guests next week. And then, of course, we'll have the draft class. So once you know who we're going to be talking about, I feel like there's always a rush in that final week to purchase the tickets. And it's a great cause, by the way. It's for Home Street Home. It's for an incredible charity that we've been happy to work with for the past couple of years. So it's not something that we do for my gain or Greg's gain or anything like that. It's something that we're doing for charity. And because we like doing this event every year. It's a good time to get out in front of people. Always fun to see what kind of questions you guys ask Greg and the guests that we've had in years past. Rand Carthon was here earlier. Hell, we should have had Rand. I'm sure Rand would have appreciated me asking him to stick around and be like, hey, you did the install the year before you got fired. You want to help me sell some tickets?
Yeah. You haven't told me who the special guest is yet. If I guess it, will you tell me?
Right now?
Yes.
Sure.
Alteron Werner.
No, Titans legend.
Jared Cook.
No, Cookie. I can't do my Jeff Fisher. Cookie.
What it is that what he called him?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Cookie. Got to make it a little breathy. That's the only impression I think I'm comfortable doing.
I need to find a cut.
And it's not even. It's a scared, limited Jeff Fisher. I don't know what else to do. I couldn't do much else with it. He's got a very distinctive tone, Coach Fisher.
Dang, I'm trying to think who it could be. I want to know, but you do not allow me to be privy to these kind of things.
No, again, because you'll get drunk and tell somebody.
That happened one time, dude, and it did not ruin anything. that random dude. Or are you talking about the L.A. Jackson roof the time your buddy?
My buddy Bobby that played offensive line in college, and Robert was explaining Femi Oladejio's pass rush techniques to him.
Just trying to get him to say he understands, you know.
I think he understands.
He's been in the trenches. He needed somebody. But speaking of people who've been in the trenches, Matt Miller put an article out this morning where he is assigning value to the top 10 picks via scouts of the opposite division. And that may sound confusing, but he is going to go pick by pick, and then he asks a random scout from another team's division. So he's asking about the Raiders pick, and AFC East scout will pick that pick and explain their reasoning behind it. I figured we could go through this, see how some scouts are feeling about it, and see if we believe it or think it's really going to go that way.
Sure. So let's start with we understand almost by consensus that Fernando Mendoza is going to go number one, but with with the analysis. It feels like we when we had Dan Brugler onto the Combine, he goes, and I think we did that interview Friday, so it was the last day of the Combine, like media stuff. We asked Dane Brugler a question about Fernando Mendoza as a player. He's like, nobody has asked me. Not a single person has asked me about the number 1 pick in the draft this year. Because everybody's just kind of shrugging their shoulders and say, oh, okay, he's going to go number 1. Whatever. If you guys say so, that's the deal. But this is in this exercise, the AFC East area scout obviously picked Fernando Mendoza. No surprise at the top of the draft, as the AFC East area scout assigned to pick for the Raiders made the chalk pick of Mendoza. Quote, the Raiders really don't have a choice. Okay, let's start there. Do the Raiders have a choice? No.
I think public perception would not allow you a choice, because if they went elsewhere, which, by the way, where would they go?
That's the other crazy part of the exercise. Like, what on earth would they do if they didn't take Mendoza?
Because the best player in the draft, the highest rated player, is a running back and a linebacker.
Yep.
I don't think an inside linebacker has gone number 1 overall since I would have to double check when the last time that has ever happened. But like, there's not another player worth coming off Mendoza for if you're the Raiders.
So they don't have a choice but to draft the quarterback with how this roster is structured. And the fact that they didn't make any moves for a young quarterback in free agency point to this being the selection. So the comparison that the scout gives Mendoza is Matt Ryan. And I haven't heard that very much. He's a lot like Matt Ryan was coming out of Boston College. Super accurate, super poised, doesn't get rattled, got better every week, it seemed like. And you know what I heard somebody bring up the other day, and it's interesting because Tennessee hired Indiana's strength coach away this past year, something I know Lucas is very excited about. The physical transformation in Fernando Mendoza. Robert, can you pull this up for me? Can you pull up Fernando Mendoza's Cal bio and what he's listed at from a weight standpoint at Cal versus what Fernando Mendoza's combine weight was? And I don't say this in terms of, he got fat, but his physical transformation from when he came to Indiana from Cal, as far as the strength and conditioning, and how much more durable that made him, how much that leveled up his game. And not just because I was there at the national championship to watch him get bludgeoned and battered, but he's playing a very, very physical style of football last year, where I don't know if he would be able to, if the player that was at Cal did not come in and transform his body that way, the way that he did at Indiana, I don't know that he lasts throughout the course of a season taking the hits that he did, especially in that championship game.
In 2024, they're college bioing it a little bit. They have him at 225, which if you look at his picture, there's no way that dude's 225.
Right. He was a string bean.
I'd say maybe he was 195, a hair under 200 when he first got there. But at the Combine this year, 236, and that is his official weight.
Significantly bigger than he was at Cal. And I think that's a huge part of how he took his game, took the next steps with his game, and how much more durable, and frankly, how much of his game was predicated off toughness. And I don't just, say glowing things about Fernando Mendoza because he won an Natty for my alma mater, but it's true. I mean, it's a part of the analysis there.
Nah, forget the first pick. We don't care. We knew what that was. This is going to be the most under-talked about first-round pick of the draft since Cam Ward. Nobody cares. I honestly hate when we know the first pick. I hate it because it
When's
just
the last time we didn't know the first pick, though?
Trayvon Walker.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
Where it was fun because we were like, oh my God, are the Jaguars really going to do this?
Are they dumb?
Are they really? And you have to wait until they say the name.
It turns out they were dumb.
Yeah, it turns out that, or maybe they're dumb. I thought he was a good player, but not worth the number 1 overall pick.
Not better than Aiden Hutchinson.
Agreed. New York Jets at 2. The AFC South area scouts pick is Arvell Reese to go to the Jets. I feel like this was the consensus early in the draft prospect that Arvell Reese would go as high as 2, and it was a foregone conclusion only until maybe the last couple of weeks. I think since Schrager's last mock draft where he had David Bailey at 2, after that the odds kind of shifted to where David Bailey would be the first defensive player selected.
Here's the quote. The Jets need a quarterback, but we'll wait until 2027 for that. I'm going Reese. In the 3-4 defense the Jets are employing, Reese's first step, quickness, and ability to live in space make him the better prospect. It's an added bonus that he has experience as an off-ball linebacker since he'll be asked to drop into space and make plays in coverage in that base defense. So Reese over David Bailey. David Bailey seems like he's getting the most amount of traction. I haven't looked at the betting odds here lately as to who's favored for the Jets to take in the offshore sports books. I'd imagine Bailey is the favorite. Don't smile at me, Dennis Daly. Get out of here. Still living in my head.
I believe that he is the favorite. And Rand was talking about this on the morning show with Ramon and Ramoni this morning, and he was talking about
Ramoni in the mornings.
Moni in the morning. How in the draft room they used to be looking for a super Sam, someone that can set the edge, someone that can rush the passer, and someone that can cover in space. And usually it's like the Meatloaf song, 2 out of 3 ain't bad. You can live with a guy if he can set the edge and play in space, but maybe he doesn't have the best pass rush juice. Or, okay, he can't play in space, but he's a great edge setter, great pass rusher. We deal with him in space when we have to drop him into the flats. What you would get with Arvell Reese is, and albeit the third may be the thing that he is not the best at, which is covering in space, but he does have pass rush juice, and he can set the edge. So you could potentially land your super Sam that Rand Carthon was talking about this morning if you're the Jets. Now, he was talking about it from the standpoint of a 4-3 defense. This is a 3-4 defense, so a little bit different approach, but probably the higher upside than a David Bailey, just a much lower floor if that potential is not realized.
6.5 sacks last season for Ohio State and only 97 pass rush reps. Mike Borgonzi talked about him yesterday. He said he doesn't think he's seen many players as explosive ever in the draft as Arvell Reese. So just something to keep in mind there. Arizona Cardinals at 3. So they've got an NFC GM making this pick.
Read this quote. This first quote is why I think this is the most interesting submission in this entire top 10.
Can I trade this pick? Was the question posed by the NFC general manager when looking at the board, but deals aren't allowed in this mock draft. The Cardinals will find themselves with a decision on day one with several talented players available and a team like the Dallas Cowboys potentially willing to make a splash move up the board. When forced to stick and pick, the evaluator went with David Bailey. So that, to me, feels like, I can't say best player available because Sonny Styles and Jeremiah Love are still out there. And Arizona could stand to have a better pass rush, but that's not gonna be a differentiating factor for them. They need a variety of different things. They're like the Titans in the sense that they haven't been as catastrophic. But their roster, I mean, how many good players do the Cardinals have right now on the roster?
Trey McBride.
Definitively good, if not best at his position.
The Marvin Harrison Jr.
Who has had maybe not the best start to his career, but is unquestionably a talented player.
They have a number of players. I wouldn't say they have a top 15 roster. They are probably or top 16. They're probably in the bottom 16 as far as roster rankings.
But that is a fascinating knee-jerk reaction by a GM. Can I trade this pick?
And I wonder if that is because Arvell Reese is off the board. I wonder if we in the public are making too much out of the ambiguity of what position or will he do this, even though it's a smaller sample size. I wonder if we're making too much of a big deal out of this. And if David Bailey would have went 2 to the Jets, he wouldn't have thought this way. Can I trade this pick is crazy with the highest floor defender on the board? To me, that's kind of crazy. So that's what I took from this.
Why? Just for the audience who may not be thinking the same way that you are.
The other part about this, where you have the highest floored defender, David Bailey. He's probably one of the safer defenders you could take if you were of a premium position, which we talked with Rand after the show, and we talked about. And if you missed his podcast he did with Dane Brugler, Schrager, and Field Yates, a lot of good nuggets in there. And I believe they talk about this there too, where people that are making decisions don't look at it like premium position, non-premium position. Now, you can probably say that about centers and fullbacks and punters and kickers and what have you. But at the top of the draft, if you have a player that's better than another player, you just take them. You don't think about, I'm not getting the right return on investment on this guy because he plays something away from the ball and he's not going to touch it. They don't think like that. They just take the best players. So for him to say, can I trade this pick with the quarterback that we all know is gone and the project pass rusher off the board, and he still wants to trade it, that's crazy to me.
Quote, you know exactly what you're getting with Bailey, and they have a need for an outside rusher that can consistently force the edge. Pairing Bailey with defensive tackle Walter Nolan. Did he get hurt? He didn't play against the Titans, I don't think.
I think he only played a couple games, and when he came back, he looked awesome, but then got hurt again. I need to double-check that, though.
They also have Will Johnson, speaking of a player who was very talented but had injury concerns coming out.
Fell to the second, I believe. Like, they had a fun draft last year, man.
He says Walter Nolan and pairing Bailey with Walter Nolan and Will Johnson would give Arizona a foundation of youth to build the defense around, but man, you'd love a quarterback here. But you're not going to take Ty Simpson.
Yeah, that would be...
Unless you're Lucas. Lucas would take Ty Simpson.
Yeah, I get it. Interested to see where he falls.
No, you don't get it. Stop it.
I don't get it. I absolutely don't get it. I could not.
I get you. That's your boy. And you're not going to say bad things about Lucas when he's not here, but you don't get it. Stop it.
I don't get it because you're betting against history and you're betting against statistics. Like, go look up the quarterbacks who have less than 20 starts when they get drafted into the NFL. It's not good. It's just not. Like, unless and the problem is drafting him in the first, you're probably going to get drafted by a dookie team where he's going to have to start and going to become another statistic. So it makes no sense to me. Best landing spot for him would be the Rams, but the Rams are all in. They're not taking a quarterback that high. They're going to take somebody that can help him right now. But anyway, to 4.
The Titans. So they've got an NFC West area scout. By the way, we're going through the ESPN mock draft where they've outsourced it to various scouts and general managers from other divisions in the NFL. So an NFC GM just made that pick for the Cardinals, even if it's not the Cardinals GM. So they've got an NFC West area scout picking for the Titans here. And as you've seen so many times before, it's Jeremiyah Love. This is the quote, Love, talking about the player. Done deal. Happily. We'll take the best offensive weapon in the class to take pressure off of Ward. You have to think about receiver here, is what the NFC West GM says. NFC West area scout says. And I considered even looking at Ohio State safety Caleb Downs because he is a blue chip player. But don't overthink it. Love is the guy to take this offense to new levels. So maybe I'm parsing too much that last sentence, to new levels. What is a new level for the Tennessee Titans offense? Just not worst?
Consistently getting first downs.
Sustaining drives.
Yeah, not relying on explosive plays for you to score.
Not being sabotaged by sacks and penalties at every turn.
See, I think, okay, for them to take it to a new level, being able to overcome those penalties. Like, I don't think the next level is reducing the amount of penalties. They're probably still going to have that because they're going to have 3/5 of their offensive line, I guess 2/5, but 2/5 of their offensive line being new, and the other remaining parts were a large part of the penalties. So I think the next level would be overcoming those penalties, which a running back can help you do. Like, you have a false start, 1st and 15, instead of running the ball, you throw a screen to J. Love out of the backfield. Get 7 yards. Okay, you cut your down and distance in half.
Does he make their run game more consistent immediately?
That's such a tough thing to say.
That's why I'm asking the question, because, yes, the thing that I would love to see Cam Ward have in year 2 is a consistent run game to take pressure off him. I don't want him dropping back as many times as he did last year. It's just not feasible. It's not a good way for your quarterback to make good decisions. It's not a good way of sustaining offense. As we look at the offensive line situation right now, understanding that they will still add pieces in the draft and in the post-draft free agency, I am having a hard time saying that player in and of himself would create a consistent run game just by existing for Tennessee if your offensive line looks the way that it does.
I think that's the major question. Would Jeremiyah Love make this run game explosive or consistent? Because
explosive, I think, is correct. Consistent, I'm having a hard time with it because it's not about him necessarily. It's about the offensive line.
Right.
So, yeah, he brings a way more explosive element to the offense, but you're going to draft a player that's just going to be boom or bust? Now, I'm not saying I shouldn't reduce him to that, That's an incorrect way to phrase the conversation.
And it wouldn't be him that was the boom or bust. It would just be the situation.
The situation is boom or bust. He is the boom. They are the bust.
I think a lot of people, and rightly so, if what they're painting, the picture they're painting is to come true. But a lot of people say, a healthy run game will help take pressure off Cam Ward. But, no one's going to stack the box to stop Jeremiah Love if the offensive line sucks. If they can get pressure or they can beat blocks with 4. And without having to rush, you know what I mean, or run blitz, and they can still affect the run game.
Curtis says it's not about the line. LOL, they will get built out. Yeah, tell me that the last 6 years. You've been chasing an offensive line rebuild for 6 years. You cannot take anything as a given in this exercise, especially that when that's been the thing that's nuked you for half a decade.
And by the way, if you get sacked on first down, they're going to throw to let Cam get in rhythm, and he gets sacked on first down, you're not running the ball on second and third down, by the way. So I don't know. I think the offensive line does play a big part in it, because if you draft Jeremiah Love, Cam gets sacked on first down, then what? You're going to throw the screens to J Love the whole time?
Yeah, they tried that. I mean, they tried that with Dontrell Hilliard, and when he was here, was it Dontrell Hilliard? Is that right? Dontrell Hilliard?
One of them.
Well, it was only the one. They had Deontay Foreman and Dontrell Hilliard, I want to say.
You're right.
I think Dontrell Hilliard is correct. In fact, I think it's quite the opposite. It has everything to do with the offensive line to me. I think it's so much less sexy to talk about, and I'm so tired of talking about them taking offensive linemen. But God, until they get it right, they can't just stop doing it and forsake that situation. And I'm not saying, we talked about this yesterday, you have to find a way to straddle both of these objectives. You have to find ways to improve the defense and find ways to further support Cam Ward. So we're not veering to extremes one side or the other, even though this conversation tends to get narrowed down to first round, what do you do? Does it change the team? No. The first round pick in and of itself isn't going to change your team. If that was true, Cam Ward wouldn't have gone 3-14 the year after Will Levis went 3-14. One player does not infinitely change your team right away. That's not the way that this sport works. 615-737-1045 is the number. What do we have to give away? We have Chris Stapleton tickets to give away for Friday Fire.
May 23rd.
That's right around the corner. Almost a little more than a month.
At Nissan Stadium.
Point in time. Big stadium show, Chris Stapleton. If you want the opportunity to win those Chris Stapleton tickets, you call us, you give us your submission for Friday Fire, the moment of positivity that you had this week. 615-737-1045. We'll do Friday Fire coming up next. for the opportunity to win some tickets to see Chris Stapleton next month at Nissan Stadium. 615-737-1045. What is your Friday fire? Some feel good. Your moment of positivity. It's a great opportunity to do just that. By the way, hopefully none of you were impacted by last night's storm, but it sounds like NES just can't get off the mat. I know this is supposed to be a positive statement, but I saw something like 40,000 people lost power last night because of that thunderstorm. It was crazy.
I looked out the window, dude, and trash cans were blowing by. I saw a cow up in the sky. I was like, oh, no. As soon as I saw that, I went to Nashville Severe. They're like, oh, no tornado warning. I was like, okay, cool.
Yeah, but still, I saw Nashville Severe Weather tweeted a tweet that they had gotten from somebody in Brentwood who said, we picked up a stray trampoline last night.
Oh, sick.
Just a whole-ass trampoline flew into somebody's yard. Thank God it didn't fly into the house.
What are they doing with it?
I don't know. You want to find out?
I would like a free trampoline, yes.
Okay, well, they're probably within the sound of your voice. Did you just pick your nose?
I scratched my
We're
nose.
on camera.
I'm scratching. No finger was inserted into my nostril. What my dad did, one time we had a trampoline blow into our yard. He dug it out, like underneath it. So it was just like sitting on the ground. Oh, dude, we busted our ass so many times on that trampoline.
Oh, my grandparents had one of the least safe trampolines I've ever seen in my life. So the frame was a square metal frame, not a circle.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. This was something out of like 1980 something.
Like fitness, yeah.
Yeah. And this, you've never have I did not know what tetanus was until I saw the way that these springs looked, these rusty springs that would almost like spray rust off of them when you bounced on the trampoline. Like somebody need to get out there with some WD-40.
That's what gave it that good boy, them good springs. What's your Friday fire?
All the Coach Mac tributes this week. It's that and getting to. I'm going to say something nice about Lucas because he's not here, so hopefully he doesn't hear it. Nobody tell him. Narcs. But Lucas did an excellent job on that Coach Mac Inside Zone podcast interview that he did, and it was just so nice for me to listen to that. Robert did a good job to put it back in the podcast feed for our show, and it's still there if you haven't got the opportunity to listen to it. It's an hour plus with Coach Mac, and I mean, you and I, the three of us talked about this the last couple of months, and of course, you know, we would not say anything like this publicly, but it just, Mac didn't feel quite there when we did some of the interviews, like some of the appearances that he did on the show, his last few appearances on the show. It was just, he was clearly not well and going through it, and it just, you know, it didn't. The thing that threw me off the most when we did those interviews, and God bless him, he gave his best effort, and he was always willing, even when he probably shouldn't have been. We probably should have just left that man alone after a while. But it just didn't sound like him because it wasn't quite as sharp. But to hear that interview that Lucas did with him, and especially after his passing on Monday, like it was therapeutic. It was just nice to hear Coach Mac the way that I remember Coach Mac. And I really enjoyed that. And everybody's tributes, everybody did a great job on the station, I thought. I think so many thoughtful pieces and video clips and audio clips and all manner of different Coach Mac stuff floating around in the NFL sphere over the course of the last couple of days. So, yeah, it's a horrible thing that happened to our friend, and we miss him dearly, but it was nice. It's been nice to get to remember him in a number of different ways.
For sure. I thought Rhett Bryan did an excellent job, man. Just
Yes.
yeoman's work of spreading the word and keeping everybody up to date. And to go on like every single show and talk about someone that means that much to you and be able to hold it together and succinctly and articulately tell the story of this man's life in his last days. Rhett did an exceptional job. If you see Rhett out in the wild, tell him so. My Friday fire is we are 1 week away from the perfect NFL day. Now, stay with me here. A lot of people are probably like, oh, what are you talking about? This not even comes close to them playing the games.
So not the draft, but the Friday after the draft.
No.
Or the Friday of the draft.
Day 2.
Yes.
Before day 2 starts, that is the best NFL draft discussion day there is on the calendar.
Ooh.
Because the first round is gone. You know everybody that went. You know all the players that went, so you know who's going to be there in round 2. You know what needs there are. You're trying to pick where guys are going to go. Okay, this could work. You're starting to look at free agency. Like, okay, if they don't get an edge here, like they would have to go check this out, and that would mean Clowney would be in play. It is the best day. The average football fan still knows the players that are on the board. You haven't gotten into all the late round miscreants and guys that are going to be practice squad players or possibly not make 53-man rosters. It is the best NFL draft day because you get to talk about what happened the day before, you get to talk about what happened here, and you get to talk about day 3 in the future. I love day 2. It is quite possibly my favorite sports day of the entire year. I cannot wait. We are 1 week out. Excited.
I know, buddy.
I cannot wait. I literally back here feverishly just hitting this pen against my hand. I hate talking about
I'm
it.
just glad to know that's what was happening back there as opposed to what else that sounds like.
I keep the camera pretty high up so you can only see my head.
Thank God.
I hate talking about it because it reminds me, oh, yeah, we still have a bleeping 6 days until this thing is here. So this whole weekend, I don't even want to watch people anymore. I just want to sit down and know it's going to happen. I know 4:30, 5:30, 6:30, like as it's approaching is just going to be mind-numbingly slow. So the only thing you do is drink. Just drink and make it go faster.
Just black out, wake up. The draft's over. What happened?
Somebody tell me who the Ravens took. Please.
Somebody on YouTube asks, are we going to the Titans draft shindig? No. You're going out of town. You do like a draft, an annual like draft get together with your buddies every year.
This is the 7th annual.
Okay.
Best buddies draft getaway or whatever you want to call it. It was here last year. Remember we rented the big lake house and
you invited me. I didn't go.
Yeah, you did not go. You would have loved it though.
Did Lucas go?
I don't think he showed up over there, but I think when we all went downtown on Saturday,
I didn't go to that either.
We met up with Lucas. Yeah, you were at the facility. You're writing reports and whatnot.
I'm doing stuff. So
you're having to do actual work.
I actually work during draft weekend. Yeah, everybody's
Yaya Diaby. Yeah.
Yeah, it's such a great name comedically. I don't go to any of the draft, what do you call it, shoulder programming. I'm at the facility. We basically camp out at the facility for 3 days, the Titans Media Corps. They give press conferences after every night of the draft, and they put the kids on a Zoom call with us after they make the picks, once they can track them down wherever they are. So I do not participate in draft festivities, but I am doing the actual draft from the facility. But I think there is something with 3HL, right? Doesn't 3HL have something going on?
I think they are doing their show from the Titans shindig at the stadium.
Like in the lead up?
Something like that. Dude, I should know, but I don't.
We should know. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Brent, Dawn, and Slay will be somewhere at some point next week for a Titans draft related thing.
Yes.
Okay.
Whenever they talk about it, we will retweet it.
Yes.
Because we care about them.
We sure will. Randy is in Ashland City. What's your Friday Fire?
Hey, man, I've been winning the lottery all week.
Like, actually?
How much money you won?
That's got to be undisclosed. You know what I mean?
Oh, it can't be that big of a win then. Give us how many zeros? How many numbers are in the number of money you've won off the lottery?
A couple of zeros.
Couple, that's 2. He ain't won none.
That's all right. I'm excited for you. It's more money than you won this week.
That's true. That's true.
Remember to stay on hold for the opportunity to win those tickets. Ryan is in Jackson.
Hey, guys. I was calling about my 7-year-old little girl. She started playing softball for the first time this year. Her mom had her batting left-handed. She, divorced, split family. She was working with her, had her batting lefty, which I said was wrong. And I got her swapped around. She started hit from the right side of the plate. And guess what? She's batting 1,000 from the right side. She's got to hit every AB now. So she's killing it. And her coaches, they're like, why do we think she was a lefty? So her mom didn't know what she was talking about, basically. And they just laughed, but she's killing it now. So that's my fire.
Badass.
That was a good one. You got to praise your daughter and dunk on your ex-wife. That's sick. I don't know if you the duality of man.
I wasn't sure what the family dynamic there. I was not going to comment on that, but I'm glad you did.
Yeah, I come from a broken family. I can help out.
Ryan is in Henderson.
No, it's Brian.
Brian. All right. Oh, I'm sorry. You spelled a name once correctly. How did you spell Jason earlier? Jasin. I said, is that Jasmine? You know, she said Jason.
I think it was Jay.
Just shut
Brian
up.
in Hendersonville.
Brian.
Hey guys, my Friday fire is, what about Ron Slay getting a contract extension? That's a win for the Zone and Nashville, and super excited for him and love listening to you guys.
Yes, we're very happy that Slay is going to be around for the foreseeable future. Ron did agree to an extension on his current deal.
Multi-year.
We love to see it. So Ramon recently had a contract. I mean, within the last year, right?
Yeah, I think back in January they got his extension done. So our core is under lock. Me, Ramon, Slay, all under contract.
You don't have a contract.
No, I don't. I'm an at-will employee.
Unfortunately for you, I have multiple years left on my deal.
We have the core four locked up.
Let's go to Jackson.
Hey guys, my Friday fire is I just picked up my 2026 Titans rebrand poster framed. I'm about to hang that in my living room, and I'm also celebrating 2 months of sobriety. So those are 2 big Friday fires for you. Thanks.
Okay. Well,
Heck yeah. Congratulations,
yes,
buddy.
Congratulations to you. I think one of those things is infinitely more important than the other one, although the posters were cool.
How long has it been since the Titans played?
I don't know, January?
Oh, I was about to say 2 months. Don't bring the season back. He's doing great, guys. Don't. Draft Jeremiyah Love for his sake. Come on. We're proud of you, Jackson. Has it been 2 months since the Titans took a snap?
Not long enough.
He's like, all of a sudden, I don't feel the need to drink.
I need more time to miss football. I'm not ready to talk about the Tennessee Titans playing football again just yet.
That's awesome, Jackson.
Yes, well done. Chuck is in Unionville, and then we'll pick a winner. Hey, Chuck.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. Let me start this out by saying, hope your day is full of joy and happiness.
Yes, sir.
My Friday fire is last month on the 19th, I was diagnosed with stage 4 lung cancer. The other day, I went and had a PET scan done and found out that the cancer has not spread outside the lungs. So for today, I am trying to keep my powder dry, as Coach Mack would say.
Absolutely.
Heck yeah,
well
Chuck.
done, Chuck.
Awesome.
Chuck gets the tickets, right?
Yeah, we got to get rid of Chuck.
Okay, well done, Chuck. We're very happy for you, buddy, and continue to fight the good fight. We hope that everything continues to trend in a positive direction. So Robert will be back in touch with you shortly. Great submissions by all. We appreciate your participation. We're going to talk about what Todd McShay had to say about Jeremiyah Love coming up next.
Dang, we were late as hell. 12:05. Good afternoon from the Circus Sports at the Mid Kentucky Downs studio. I am Lucas Panzica. The Nashville Predators finished the season with a 5-4 loss to Anaheim on Thursday at Bridgestone Arena. Philip Forsberg with 2 goals to get him to 40 on the year, along with Steven Stamkos. But the Predators are done and have missed the playoffs 3 out of the last 4 seasons. Nashville Soccer Club jumps back into the MLS regular season play tomorrow night at Atlanta United. Still leading the Eastern Conference. Kickoff from Mercedes-Benz Stadium is at 6:30. Pregame coverage on the Zone starts at 6. The NBA play-in tournament continues tonight. The Hornets and Magic tip off at 6:30. Warriors and Suns start at 9. For all your foundation repair and your waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and the Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Final hour on this Friday. We love a Friday. Morale is high. The weather is beautiful. We got some rain. Thank God we got some rain. Hopefully you all are safe from the wind, potentially, or not potentially. I saw some hail situation last night. So if you're dealing with a circumstance without power, hopefully you are doing okay. If you need any additional help, obviously there are resources that you can reach out to. If there's anything we can do, of course, as in any of those weather situations, please don't hesitate to get in touch with us. I don't know what we could do, but it's always nice to offer. 615-737-1045 is the number. Lucas is at the Nashville SC training facility. He has a couple of pregame conversations that he needs to get done before his Nashville SC broadcast on Saturday. So Robert and me are here with you to wrap it up. Lucas lied to both of our faces and acted like he was going to come back to the show after he got this done, as if Lucas has ever in his life thought about working harder.
I think we call him. I think we call him on air to see if he's going to make it back or not.
When do you want to do that? Do you want to do that now?
When did he tell us what time his interview was?
I mean, he said he was leaving after the 10:45 segment. I assume so, like 11:30. Should we? Let's wait maybe halfway through the next segment. So, like, let's say 12:30. Why don't we wait an hour?
I could get down with that.
And then we'll call Lucas and ask him about how far away he is and what he would like us to talk about and what segments he's prepared for, and did he do the polls?
If he doesn't answer, I think we leave him a very scary voicemail, like something happened. Nah, because if we make it sound scary, people are going to think it's scary for us, like if they were just tuning in. So I guess we can't do that.
No, I still think we scare him.
Just be like, Lucas, help! There's a raccoon loose in the studio.
And
something.
I mean, if a raccoon fell out of a ceiling tile or something like that. No, I say things like that. We have one of the nicest studios I think I've ever been in.
I'm serious. I've worked at a lot of stations.
Oh my God, the radio station that I started out here in town before I got this gig. Woo!
The first radio show I ever produced, we didn't even have attached studios. I was in a closet with a board, and he was on the other side of the wall. We could not see each other with a microphone. That's how we did the show. And that's how I would prefer to do this show. But it's a very nice studio.
Yes, it is. It's too nice for us. So the question is Jeremiyah Love too nice for the Titans roster? Given the conversation that we've been having I mean, it is an exhausting one. I was talking to Robert and Lucas when we were getting ready for the show today. I said, by percentage chance, the conversation that we're most likely to be exhausted by, but that the audience is still going to want to have over and over and over and over and over again. It's like that Marshawn Lynch 60-minute sports clip. You ever seen that? Run through a mother bleeper's face? And over and over and over. Yeah. So while I am tired of the exercise, I understand that it's an exercise that Titans fans are still engaged by. So we will talk about it because it's what you want to talk about, not what we want to talk about. So is the roster in a place where Jeremiyah Love would make sense? You and I, Robert, were talking about this before Todd McShay came on the radio show. That wasn't yesterday, that was Wednesday. And I had seen a lot of this conversation out there from people like Steve Palazzolo, formerly of Pro Football Focus, now working for the 33rd team. I had seen this conversation had by Field Yates and Mel Kiper on their podcast. I can't remember the name of the podcast. I want to say it's called First Draft. That sounds correctly. I've heard McShay and his co-host Steve Metch, who will also be on this show after the draft, to talk about the fits of some of the players that the Titans did draft. I've heard them talk about roster readiness for players like Love, or a player like Love on a roster that's not good. And not comparing it directly to the Ashton Jeanty situation, but saying Ashton Jeanty to Vegas would kind of be a less extreme version, or excuse me, Jeremiyah Love to Tennessee would be a less extreme version of Ashton Jeanty to Vegas. Because Ashton Jeanty went to a place where they had no professional caliber offensive linemen. The Vegas offensive line is the worst offensive line I think I've ever seen in my lifetime. And I've covered the Tennessee Titans the last couple of years, so that's saying something. They were awful. Non-professional football team was the Vegas Raiders last year. Ashton Jeanty stood no chance. I don't think it's quite as dire here in Tennessee, but it is the closest approximation to that we can find of that didn't work out. We also talked about Bijan Robinson yesterday and how the Falcons drafted him in the top 10 and how Bijan Robinson has never been on a team that's won more than 7 games. He's never been to the postseason. It's been quite some time, as a matter of fact, since the Falcons have been in the postseason at all. But we know Atlanta's situation is also different from Tennessee's, because Atlanta drafted a first-round quarterback that we still don't know about and is probably on the down trend in Michael Penix. They signed Kirk Cousins that same year prior to drafting Michael Penix, and Cousins was fine, had some really high-quality moments, and then got hurt and is also aging and was never really able to capitalize. Atlanta has a better offensive line. They have a better tight end situation. They have a definitive wide receiver one in Drake London, which is something that the Titans don't have. There's also the Colts as an example of this, where you have a roster that's, at least on the offensive side of the ball, I would argue excellent in terms of the skill position players that they've added and the quality of their offensive line unit, where you've got Jonathan Taylor and, at the time, Michael Pittman and Alec Pierce, and you add Tyler Warren to that mix. Josh Downs is a nice slot option. It's as good a collection of offensive players, top to bottom, as any team has, and they just couldn't figure out the quarterback situation until the first half of the season last year. Daniel Jones looked great with that kind of skill talent around him, and then when Daniel Jones got hurt, it all went to hell again. So how much does it matter for Tennessee? Because Tennessee's quarterback is still a huge unknown, though I think there's reasons for optimism, good reasons for optimism. You and I were getting ready for this McShay interview, and I said, do you think teams, or did you say?
I think I said it.
Okay, go ahead.
Oh, you want me to say it again?
Yes.
Do teams think, is my roster ready to house this player, or do they say, no, I'm just going to take a good player? Like, I think running back is almost the only position that you think about like that, unless you don't have a quarterback. But even then, I think you would want to have weapons for a quarterback that you were going to select. I think running back is the only position that we talk about like this. Like, there's no player on defense that, I mean, maybe that's not totally true either, because, like, you wouldn't want to take. My brain is just so fried thinking about this now. Like, what players could be either way? Do teams overthink it and say, I need to take a good player here, or my team isn't ready to house this guy, so we shouldn't take him? And I thought it was a good question until we heard Todd's response.
Well, and we'll get to Todd McShay's response to that very question coming up next. Ooh. We're going to get back into this Jeremiyah Love conversation here in just a second, but I just saw this report from TMZ that Alshon Jeffrey is facing up to 5 years in jail after he was arrested for insurance fraud. I'm not super familiar with insurance fraud, but 5 years. You're facing 5 years in jail for anything less than killing somebody? I feel like that's kind of a waste of a... Not that I'm advocating for that, of course, but it seems very harsh. Very harsh. I don't know the nature of the charge, but we will see. Yes, we were talking about Jeremiyah Love and the roster readiness of the Titans, and is it a conversation that teams have? So I asked Todd McShay yesterday. Let's start with this first clip, Robert. I sent you two. Unless you're only ready for the one, you can tell me, what do you have in front of you right now?
A pen, a marker, 2 keyboards,
Smart-ass.
a phone. Oh, you meant clip-wise. Neither one of the ones you sent me, for whatever reason, are processing through Twitter right now. So I have the beginning of the Jeremiyah Love answer.
Okay, so let's start with the conversation that we started with Todd yesterday. Is are we overthinking Jeremiyah Love? Are we overthinking the Jeremiyah Love thing, or is this just the thing that makes the most sense for them?
It makes the most sense, but I don't think there's... I think they're thinking about it, so why it's not overthinking it if we're discussing it, right?
Sure.
Factors at play. What if Arvell Reese doesn't go 3? What if it goes Mendoza, Bailey, and Maui Noah, and Arvell Reese is sitting there at 4? You've got Robert Saleh, who honestly like a hockey line shift. He'd love to just roll those pass rushers in, like many defensive coordinators in the league. There's that tug. Then there's the tug of, well, what got Saleh fired in New York? What got Daboll fired in New York? Lack of offense. And you look at all the resources and the financial backing that they put into their defensive side during free agency. And you think to yourself, let's not make this same mistake again. But I'm sure Saleh would be really intrigued with an Arvell Reese or even a Sonny Styles or what, And then you got Daboll, who's like, we kept this young quarterback who I was in love with. Hey, Mike Bergonzi, the GM, I tried to trade to get Cam Ward when we were sitting there, pick 3, and he wouldn't do it because they loved Cam Ward as well. And so I didn't wind up with Cam Ward. I wound up with Jackson Dart, who I liked second most and absolutely loved him, but we had to trade back into the first round to get him. Now I've got my hands on figure of speech, Cam Ward, and I'm able to help mold him, but I got to have weapons. And so Jeremiyah Love's not just a running back. He's a guy who averaged over 10 yards per catch. And so some easy throws could turn into 6, 8, 12 yards for the quarterback. So there's a lot that they're weighing. I think the most likely spot that Jeremiyah Love goes is Tennessee at 4, but it's not a lock. And I think the floor for Jeremiyah Love is Washington at 7. If he gets there. But I also think Arizona is a kind of a dark horse, because do you take Maui Noah, even though you want to address your offensive line, and you brought in Tyler Algier, James Conner's coming back from a major injury, or do you take the best player on the board at number 3 because you don't have a partner to trade out of there? So Jeremiyah Love is probably the most intriguing player in terms of where they're going to go, because he is a running back. But he is, on most teams' boards, the number 1 player, and if not number 1, he's certainly in the top 3.
One of the tropes that seems to be... So we'll get to that follow-up here in just a second. Robert's laughing at me because he literally asked me, what do you want to do there? And I said, no, just stay here. And I said, no, that's not what I meant to say at all. Okay. So the factors that he said, factors at play in the decision. Let's start with the first one that he laid out. That was Todd McShay on with us earlier in the week. You can check that out via the podcast. Robert also posted the full interview on YouTube, including Robert telling Todd McShay very awkwardly that he loved him. No reciprocation.
I regret nothing. I don't care. Most of the loves of my life haven't reciprocated crap.
Oh, God, that's so true. Let's start with the first factor at play that he said there. Is Arvell Reese there? So we've talked a lot about the choice between Styles and Love. What if it's Reese and Love? And he mentions Robert Saleh and his interest in platooning his pass rush situation. So what Mike Borgonzi said yesterday at the pre-draft press conference specific to consulting coaches and their decision-making in personnel. And I want to find the exact quote in the transcript so I can read it to you because I thought it was
breaking sports news on 104.5 The Zone.
Scared the hell out of me.
While you look at that, we've got some breaking news and a new highest-paid non-quarterback in NFL history as the Texans and two-time Pro Bowler Will Anderson finalizing a 3-year, $150 million extension. As I noted before, that will make him the highest-paid non-quarterback in NFL history, a massive market reset. And while you're still looking for that quote, do you know who had that news on April 13th? 4 days ago?
Woof, woof.
Ricky Scoops. He says, I hear the Texans and Will Anderson are getting close to a record-breaking $50 million extension that will make him the highest-paid non-quarterback in the NFL. You know what Ricky tweeted less than a minute ago? I didn't know that. You're telling me this for the first time.
Ricky Scoops, man. What's Jeff Simmons going to make?
Oh, dude,
Jeff Simmons. You talk about all this salary cap space. I hear a lot of, maybe it's not a majority by any stretch of the imagination, but I got a lot of Titans fans bitching on Twitter about they still have all this cap space. Why aren't they spending the cap space? What's the cap space for? What are we doing with the cap space? Jeff is going to make $40 million a year. It feels like. So 3 years, $150, highest paid non-quarterback in NFL history. And again, the 150 is not the number that matters there. Robert, $134 million of that 150 fully guaranteed.
So basically, he ain't going anywhere. He's getting you do not.
I heard Zach off mic. Whoa, it is. That was great.
You don't run the risk of the third year of this contract being an old maid contract where the player doesn't want to play for the lack of guaranteed money. If that was the case, $34 million of the final 50 would be, so he'd be missing out on 16 of the total guarantee, and they're not going to cut him. So I think this would be something where he gets a chance to double dip or triple dip on contracts because of the length of the contract.
Deal also includes a no trade clause.
Which, if you're unfamiliar, the player can still be traded. That just means they have to agree to the place. They have to waive it. And it's his choice whether or not to waive it. So if they were like, we're going to trade you to Arizona, he can say, no, you're not. They said, okay, we're going to trade you to the Rams. And you go, okay, I'll waive it. You can send me to the Rams.
Now, does that change the conversation at all? Because somebody says that's why a rookie deal on edge is more valuable than a running back for the positional value of taking an edge player over a running back in the first round this year.
Well, I don't really think so because you just had to – I don't know, too, because – where he got drafted, this would, Zach, correct me if I'm wrong, this would be the 5th-year option that's coming up for Will Anderson. Or is it the 4th year of his rookie deal? This would be the 4th year of his rookie. So technically, this is a 5-year extension. This
if
is
you didn't hear Zach muttering off microphone, it's the 4th year of his rookie deal.
He is going into the 4th year of his rookie deal. So he has this season. He has the 5th-year option season. I'm interested to know if this means that they will still pick up the 5th-year option and these 3 years are added on the end of it, which would essentially mean he has 5 more years in Houston. That is an interesting caveat that I will look for the information on.
Okay. Man, $50 million a year.
Just the number sounds crazy.
$134 million guaranteed. Jeff has to make 40.
You would think so,
right?
Especially being the best player on his team. Like
he's the best player on the team by a mile, and he's not only the best player on the team, he still wants to be here for reasons that are, whatever. I don't know what's most important to Jeffrey. I'm sure the money matters, but Jeff clearly values being in Tennessee at every turn, at every opportunity, at every question he's been asked about. Wouldn't you like to go somewhere better? Wouldn't you like to go somewhere where you can actually win something of consequence? He's shrugged it off. So I think if for no other reason besides, 1, he's excellent. 2, he's loyal. 3, he keeps telling you, no, please don't trade me. I want to stay here. Even though everyone in the world logically would say, get me the hell out of this. Get me the hell out of here yesterday. For as bad as this situation has been, for as dumb as this organization has been around him. But Jeff I think the number has to at least start with a 4 for Jeffrey. And so if you're talking about cap space for, because I mean, we didn't talk about this. I would think that what's the center's name that the Ravens had and the Ravens?
Tyler Linderbaum.
Linderbaum. I would think that the Linderbaum contract would impact what Peter Skoronski makes, even though he's not a center. Interior offensive line. I'm not saying that I'm not saying that Pete's going to make $20 million a year because Linderbaum's making $27. But I thought for a period of time you could get Peter for $14, $15 million a year. I don't think that's happening anymore.
Yeah, and I think Linderbaum was the perfect intersection of position scarcity and a team that needed to spend a buttload of cash.
Sure.
So, like, if Skoronski hit the open market, he might be able to get that much. I don't know. Like, who are the other guards that are going to be able to hit free agency? Like, good offensive linemen do not get there.
Yeah.
So if he did get there, it would not surprise me if people overpaid, but it also wouldn't surprise me if the Titans just said, dude, what do you want? What do you want? Let's get this done. Let's give you the security that you need to move forward and play at a high level, and you give us the security of knowing that you're going to be on the team. Let's just get it done. You're not going to make the absolute top of market where you're squeezing all the pith and juice out of a lemon that you can, but you're still going to get a nice chunk of change. You're still going to get a nice little lemon wedge. So I would think that would be amicable for both sides, and they could get something done.
Congrats to Will Anderson, man. Woof.
$50 million a year, dude. I think that. Do you think you'll make $50 million in your lifetime?
60. Do I think I'll make $50 million in my lifetime?
I don't think I'll even sniff that much money. From the time that I was, when did I start working? 5, 6 in the coal mines?
I don't know what I feel like I'll make in my lifetime. 50 feels a little high, but I don't know. We're doing pretty well. Anyway, going back to the conversation about, so that's the latest news. If there's more news, Robert will interrupt me with a laser light show and scare the hell out of me.
Sorry. Thought you were going to say something.
Go ahead, talk.
Have you seen this Zay Flowers quote that came out today?
Is it real?
Yeah, it's real. It's an interview.
Did you tell people what you did to me with Slay's contract yesterday?
I lied to you because you were in the gym and weren't looking at your social media, so I told you that Slay booked an endorsement deal with Captain D's, and he got Kirby booked as a Pirate for the Shrimp Nibblers, and you thought it was true. You called me. You called me and were like, what the hell's going on? I was at the gym.
You could hear the music just blaring in the background at my gym.
You're like, what's all this hullabaloo about Slay? I was like, oh, it was really cool. He signed this deal with Captain D's. They're doing a shrimp nibbler thing, and he actually got Kirby a bit in his commercial. And you're like, oh, that's great for Kirby. Okay, I have to go do some burpees. I'll be back. I was like, okay.
Literally burpees yesterday. Terrible.
And then I added Ramon, Slay, and Lucas into a group chat. I was like, this dumbass really believed that Captain D's story. You showed up today to Slay, and we're like, congratulations on Captain D.
No, it was like halfway through the show yesterday. I saw his post. I'm like, oh, you idiots. You're a pathological liar.
Oh, them shrimp nibblers, dude. They got to move them shrimp nibblers. Okay, but this quote by Zay Flowers was true, and I wish I would have asked Ramon about this morning. I forgot to ask him about it. But Zay Flowers says, under John Harbaugh, they were always in full pads, doing one-on-ones late into the season, and, quote, it's why we had a lot of injuries. Flowers says new head coach Jesse Minter has assured him, let me get the rest of it, it's going to be a little easier on your body. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Because I have seen both sides of the media go, oh, it's going to be soft in Baltimore. Glad your new coach is going to go soft on you.
Well, here's what I would defer to, and I want to make sure that I get Blaine's words right on this. But Blaine has talked about practice habits and the way that training camp has changed and all these different things before. So I would defer to him when he comes in here in a little less than 30 minutes from now. But the idea that if you don't go through at least practices with somewhat of a physical nature and training camp with somewhat of a physical nature, and the way that the rules have changed around training camp, because you do have to protect these guys, and you have to protect them from the coaches, because the coaches aren't out there banging their bodies together. It's not something that's going to be physically taxing on the coaches. So if the coaches need to be reined in, then there's a reason that these things exist, and you don't want to exhaust guys or push people to the point where they're not as effective on game days. There is sports science for a reason, and heavy investments in sports science for a reason.
Former player.
No,
you go first.
Well, just to summarize, I think the point that Blaine has made many times is that if you do not practice with a level of physicality, it's going to impact, one, your ability to stay healthy because your body builds up those calluses. And I'm sure it's a balance between, okay, but what if they get hurt? What's the Vrabel line? There's a 100% chance of injury in professional football. It's just what it is.
Well, and my devil's advocate of that, and I'm not saying this is the correct stance, but just worth asking the question. In today's day and age, are players softer? And because they lack those calluses, if they get nicks and bruises by playing more physically and then can't play through injuries, is it worth practicing like that to keep your talent off the field if they are going to incur these little nicks and bruises? That would be my question. But some former Ravens players have chimed in on this, and the guy that's about to say his name, I want you to tell me which team he had a legendary performance for. He had one game for this team when he went absolutely bonkers.
Okay.
Jonas Gray.
Oh, Dolphins.
I think it was against the Dolphins for the Patriots. I think he scored either 5 or 6.
He was the Patriots because he was, when we were still doing Sports Illustrated covers, he was on the Sports Illustrated cover for the Patriots. You're right. It was the Patriots against the Dolphins.
He scored 5 touchdowns.
I think it was 4, but still, just outrageous. And then, he showed up late to a meeting, and Belichick, cut him.
Yes, that year. It wasn't I think it was 2 weeks later he was cut. Jonas Gray said, playing for the Ravens under Harbaugh was some of the toughest practices of my career. Late in the season, and we were still going full pads and full speed. I did not believe it at first. Now, I would like to hear from the more substantial players to see how they take this into effect. Obviously, it's not affecting Lamar. No one's hitting Lamar full speed and pads at practice, but everyone else, the other questions. I wonder which NFL coaches right now run the hardest practices.
Andy Reid.
I was about to say, so if you look at the teams that are doing that, the teams that are running the hardest practices, they're usually some of the more successful. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers run pretty stringent practices.
I mean, it's really the correlation between the teams that play their starters a good majority in the preseason. I'm not going to say that it automatically correlates to a more successful season, but they do tend to have a greater track record of success. You do run the risk of injury. I understand I understand that is a conversation that is fair to have, but I would again defer to the football players on this who would have more experience on this. And if Blaine is saying no, you risk also injuring yourself if you do not physically practice the way that you're going to play, then and again, if I'm mischaracterizing that, I'm sure Blaine will come in here and straighten me out here in a couple minutes. 615-737-1045 is the number.
We're calling him.
We're calling, Lucas?
Yes. Do you think he's going to be back?
Does he know the number?
Yeah, he knows the hotline number. I don't care. He knows I'm calling.
Hello?
Where are you?
What are you doing?
What do you mean?
What do you mean?
What do you mean? Coming back for the show.
Sorry, I can't hear you. Say again.
That's a convenient excuse. You told us that you would be back for the show. Where are you?
I can't make out what you're saying. Say it again.
Lucas.
Hey, well, hang on. I'm walking in somewhere. Say it. I can't hear what you're saying. You're breaking up.
That's a well-executed bit. That is a well-executed bit. Well done.
I've been standing in the production studio for 10 minutes waiting for
God's sakes.
Well, we've been drowning in here. We needed you.
How was your soccer talk? Did you have a good time?
I did.
What are you even bothering to take your headphones out for? We've got 20 minutes left.
Well, I want to hear Robert.
He can't hear me if he doesn't have his phones on.
I see.
I see.
Well, that's very good of you.
I missed you, baby.
But, no, it was, hang on.
Okay. Robert, what were we talking about?
I don't remember.
We should just go to break.
I don't remember.
Just go to break. Last call for phone calls if you got them. 615-737-1045. Look at Lucas. Came back just out of spite. Purely out of spite.
That's correct.
Well done. So we had a little bit, you have a little bit of additional breaking sports news back there, do you?
We do, man. This is kind of interesting from a draft's point and from a team schematic draft point.
Okay.
So we heard out of, I believe it was Ian Rappaport who initially reported this, Arizona Cardinals quarterback Jacoby Brissett is not attending phase 1 of the offseason program and is asking for an extension that pays him as a starter. Brissett, who is set to make $9 million in 26, only has $1.5 million in guaranteed money and wants security. Arizona appears to be willing to address it. But when Ian Rappaport gave a little more context, saying, asked Brissett if he is the starting quarterback to general manager Monty Austinfort and said yesterday that the team is, quote, not really into naming anybody, and we'll see how that room works out by the time we get to August. So the first part, they might be willing to pay him as a starter. The second, they're not willing to name anybody the starter. They want to wait till August. So what does that mean? Put your fingers up, Lucas. Brian Windhorst's fingers.
That was half-assed.
That was like half fingers, half digits.
I got them both up.
Yeah, but they're like doing like a little Clefairy metronome kind of thing.
Clefairy metronome.
Ty Simpson at 3 is what it is.
Shut up. I knew as soon as we started reading this, that's what he was going to say. I knew it.
All right. You laugh now.
All right, let's make a bet then if you're so confident.
Not as funny as Buck thinking he can make close to $50 million in his life.
You were listening.
If Stephen A. can make 40 over 2, there's hope for all of us.
Listen, if you feel so confidently that Ty Simpson is going to go at 3, if you are Ty's Simpson, then make a bet with me.
Pretty good.
Make a bet with me. I will bet you that I will shave off every long and dignified hair on the top of my noggin if Ty Simpson goes at 3. You have to forego and forsake your Italian heritage if he does not go at 3.
Wait.
You are no longer allowed to
that's-
bibbity-bobbity-boopity around this studio.
That's discriminatory.
All right.
Around this
That's a little on the nose.
No, I mean, it's
What was the word I tried to make up this morning that it was an Italian? Goomy. You will not be allowed to goomy around here anymore.
It's like Justin asking Lucas for an air check yesterday, and he just goes, ba, 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 ba. Completely unhelpful to everybody involved.
Gets the job done.
It's like, dude, say words, dude. Come on. We're like a bunch of like chimpanzees.
Didn't
Like,
need words.
hey, look up here. Look up here. Remember, smile.
No, I think, because this is an extreme bet that you're calling for. What was the bet you made with me a couple of years ago about that corner that went to the Commanders, Forbes, that was a first-round pick but was not very good?
Emmanuel Forbes. He could have been good. The ceiling was high. He ran like a 4.3 and had like 11 takeaways at Mississippi State, dude.
So
he's on the Rams now being a starter.
This is the second time you have offered to shave your head as a means to doing something.
I think you just want to shave your head.
It sounds like it.
No. I'm just saying that was my point of emphasis of how confident I am that he will not go at 3.
Right. So I think the stakes that's a little extreme on Lucas's side of things. I think if we're going to ask Lucas to forsake anything, it has to be his fake Brazilian heritage, not his real Italian heritage. I think he has to stop lying to people about the fact that he thinks he's from Brazil, even though nobody in his family is actually from Brazil.
That is not true.
No.
He said that's where he would go if the draft happened. He would go down to Brazil.
Like the military
the
draft.
military draft, right?
Yes, not the
of us,
NFL draft.
Yeah, we are all cowards. None of us are going to. All of us are going to abandon ship if they institute a military draft.
Yeah, we would be UDFAs too, by the way. The military would not draft us in the top 7 rounds.
That's the only passport that my Italian passport is actually technically expired.
Oh, see, okay. So
my Brazilian passport is very much not. So it's a lot more feasible.
Arrivederci, dude. There's no way.
Well, you're the only one who doesn't have multiple passports.
I have a passport.
No. Multiple passports.
What do you need more than one for? Doesn't one get you in wherever you want to go?
Sure, but if the draft were to happen, Lucas can pose as either a Brazilian or an Italian citizen. I can be an Egyptian citizen. You
are fat and ugly. They're
are
not
getting
taking
shipped to Iran.
That's
but
true. I think Robert can contest it in other ways.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, have me run a mile. 3 days later, it's like, how far? How much farther is it? How much further?
Kirby was genuinely upset that we said we would abandon our country.
Kirby, we're out, dude.
He was so mad.
Kirby was threatening to come find us. Liam Neeson taking stuff.
He's like, I'm going to bring you in like a bounty hunter.
Kirby could go in our stead. Kirby would be far more effective than any of the three of us.
That's what I talked about. Like,
I had
can he
to say,
move on
Kirby,
it?
you don't want us fighting a war for you.
Kirby would come. Kirby would come back from battle, dragging the three of us, just mangled behind him.
Oh my God. So anyway, I forgot what we were talking about. We should probably just do some polls and get the hell out of here for the day before we remember and go down another rabbit hole, like who played what character in A Bug's Life. I got a lot of tweets about that yesterday.
Dude, Bug's Life, banger movie. Yep. Lucas, what team did Jonas Gray have a prolific performance for?
Yeah, you got me.
You weren't listening that hard. We were just talking about it in the last segment.
It's the Patriots.
Jonas Gray. Remember he scored like 5 touchdowns, like 12 touchdowns in that game?
He's a Sports Illustrated cover guy.
When? What year is this?
This was
2013. Yeah, 14, 15, 16, 17, somewhere in there.
I remember him because I thought he was going to be a better pro out of Notre Dame, and then he ended up going to I think he was like a 6th round draft pick by the Pats.
See, I thought he was a UDFA. What, he
might have been a UDFA.
Did he play at Notre Dame? Notre Dame fanboy?
Yeah, he was good. I just said that.
Oh,
that's when I actually paid attention to Notre Dame football, not fake cosplaying as a Notre Dame fan. Anyway, polls. Let's go.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Presented by Two Rivers Ford, the South's most trusted Ford dealer. Who is your favorite saint? Paul Kaharski says Paul. He understood the exercise.
Very unoriginal.
Logan says Amon-Ra St. Brown. Doesn't make sense.
St. Brown.
Oh, idiot. Gilly says St. Anthony. Mary Claire says St. Clair. D'Artagnan says St. Andrew. Dewey says St. Anthony. So pretty much everybody actually submitted their favorite patron saint.
Nobody said like Marquise Colston or something.
The best one we got. The best one we got was and it's Marcus Colston, not Marquise.
Marquez. Callaway.
Is VFL, is the Titans roster ready to draft Jeremiyah Love? Yes or no? 72% say yes.
Okay.
The other side said the roster doesn't draft him. Mike Borgonzi does.
Hey.
God, I need a break.
We need to go home, all three of us.
Should Nate Ament return to Tennessee next year? 73% say yes.
Okay, no bias in there whatsoever. Nobody having any nuance about it. Nobody. I did think I saw somebody respond to it saying, yes, he should, just based off developmental, like trying to put the fan stuff aside. But I do think there's probably a little bit of bias in there.
Those are the polls.
Very good.
Yeah, we still got a couple minutes to kill here.
God, really?
6:30 kickoff tomorrow in Atlanta.
Yeah, go ahead and plug your stuff.
6 p.m. pregame. Nashville, still top of the Eastern Conference.
Somebody literally, when you walked into the studio, said, "No soccer talk, please," in the chat.
Do you like winning?
It's the only good team we have.
Are you winning, son? Yes. I asked you this before, and I'm going to ask you this again. Is this the best team in NSC history? Do you think that this team easily?
Well, yeah, I mean,
yeah.
Well, don't say now. Well, yeah, from you, like you know.
No, I mean, I pay attention because of him.
You ain't never watched a game.
It's 2 months in.
How many games have I been? I've been to a couple of games
this season.
It's 2 months into the season. They're at the top of the Eastern Conference. They're essentially in the Final Four of North America. The dates have dropped for the 2 semifinal legs: April 28th at Geodis and May 5th in Monterrey. Robert, against
Tigres.
Who? Against
Tigres.
Don't you have a tiger back there somewhere?
No, that's a predator. not a tiger.
What? Are you safe? Are you well?
Yeah, this team's flying high, man.
It's not a nice thing to say about Justin.
Join us at 6 tomorrow.
Who has been the best addition to this team?
Christian Espinoza has been everything they could have possibly wanted.
The Elvis Doomerville of Nashville SC.
So as one Espinoza leaves Tennessee, another great one takes his cake. Who is the better Espinoza? Didn't one just leave to go to Michigan? Wasn't that
Estrella?
God, dang it!
It's all right. I appreciate it.
I'm glad we tried to stretch the rest of this show. This is like Robert drunk at Lakeside trying to play that game with us. All right, would you rather?
Hey. I see another night like that. Cheyenne's out of town, so I am.
Do you want to go out? I'm down.
I would love to. I would love to.
I'm desperately trying to get my sister out of the house. I keep being like, Lily, you want to go see things in Nashville? She said, no, I'm good. You want to go to dinner? She just got a new job. Want to celebrate your new job? No, I'm good. We're literally going to have to drag my sister out of the house and make her go watch us get drunk. She said she DD for us.
Oh, perfect. Oh, that's incredible. Yeah, it's no Uber fees tonight. Who am I kidding? I don't buy my own Ubers.
All right, let's get the hell out of here. Mercifully. It'll be much more intelligent, much more informed, much more intellectually stimulating when Blaine and Zach get in this studio coming up next. Have a wonderful weekend. We will talk to you on Draft Week.